Apologies for a few seconds of audio disparity. James forgot to turn the bit on the camera on that receives this thing. Here, I turned mine on, James. I turned mine on. We're back at Clay Pigeon for the afternoon. The last afternoon of the British Universities Karting Championship 2018 proper. It's 3 one-hour endurance races, and then we'll know who's won the championship. The winners will be revealed at tonight's awards party. Those who've been watching this morning, I've been asking each and every team if they'll be showing up to this party, and to be fair, all of them have. So it's going to be a pretty busy night. One person I haven't asked is Mr. Ben Street. We reckon Warwick will be there, but Ben is rolling up in 11th place for endurance number 1. And he's a very handsome young lad as well.
Hello.
Ben.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm really good. I'm really good.
What are you looking forward to most this weekend?
Spending a whole night with you.
That's the right answer. No one's got that yet. No one understands that that's the best bit of the weekend.
What have they said?
I'm looking forward to racing and that.
Sad, aren't they?
I know. You're picking my main man up from the train station after this. Mish is back.
Yep.
What do you reckon his chances are for Grand Champ?
His chances?
Yeah.
Low, because he's not driven for a little while, and he thinks he's really good, but he just twats all the curbs and behaves like a knob, doesn't he? So
Don't be like that.
it's fact.
I guess. He's put on a bit of weight since university as well.
That as well, yeah.
Right, down to the racing then. 11th place, you're sharing with Sam, who won a race earlier.
He did, yeah.
Well, how do you fancy your chances here?
Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have a good race. If we get a good kart, then there's no reason why we can't win it.
How's she looking? What do you reckon, just based on appearances alone?
She's a bit dirty, but that's not always a bad thing, is it? So.
Yeah, that's how you like them, Ben.
Yep.
Solid. All right, I'm going to probably go have a nosy around the grid, see who else you got in this. You put your helmet on.
Yeah, see you later, mate.
Ben there putting his helmet on without the help from me. Sat in front of him, we got the number 66 of Newcastle. King's College we haven't spoken to yet. Danny, come over here. Mr. Danny Dwyer of King's College London. I don't think we spoke to you at Houghton, did we?
No, we didn't. I thought it was very rude of you.
You know.
I was getting used to having a nice chat.
I can't get around everyone. There's only so much for me to go around, you know?
I know. Everyone wants a piece.
Literally everyone. What are we talking here? 9th?
Starting 7th?
7th. Yeah. 6 carts in front of you.
Yeah.
Who are you sharing with?
LSB.
Yeah? Do you like him?
Ginger Rocket. He's all right. He's not a great bed partner, though.
No?
No, hogs a duvet.
Is he snore?
Oh, yeah. It's bad. It's poor.
Gingers, eh?
I know. You just can't trust him from the southwest. Horrendous.
What are we saying about the race then? You reckon you two can get a good result?
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could try and get a top 5. Try not bin it. Keep it out of the tyre wall for the first lap. See if we stay out of trouble. Be quite good.
Are we going to see some snappy coordinated dressing at the party tonight?
Maybe not coordinated, but definitely snazzy. We're going up market, 2K18.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
By orders of Jacob. I like it.
Well, people do like doing what I say.
Skinny tie too much? Isn't that a bit?
I'd go for a skinny tie. I'm wearing a bow tie myself.
Are you? Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, well,
what colour?
Black.
Oh, proper black tie.
Yes,
Have you
indeed.
got the dinner jacket and all sorts?
I got a dinner jacket, yeah.
Oh man, this guy's on it. Love it.
Just you wait and see. I'm going to look proper fit.
I look forward to it, mate. All of 4 females will be looking at you.
And a couple of males as well.
Yeah, don't count it out.
Dan, you have a good race. Yeah? Enjoy yourself.
Thank you very much. Pleasure
Nice
talking to you as always.
Oh, maybe I'll catch up with you in the
pits.
pits.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Hopefully.
like I said,
Hopefully there'll be nice results to talk about.
we'll see. Danny Dwyer, King's College. I'm going to say they're the nicest race suits we've had this year. I mean, you know, we've seen some nice race suits. Leeds is quite good. We'll go to Leeds next. But yeah, this year's probably nicest suits. Best dressed, I'm going to go for. There's not an award for it tonight, but if there was, I'd give it to you guys. I've got some spare gold envelopes. I'll scribble on a piece of paper, best dressed, and give it to you. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Good luck for the race, guys. Let's go talk to Leeds. Like I said, we've got double Leeds here. We've got a double Leeds. Who have we got doubling up here?
That's Brad in front and then Matt Lawton. Matt, I think the TV wants to talk to you.
Matt, you going to fire him off at the first corner or what?
The plan is to load him as hard as possible. And if he sticks it, then I'll leave him alone. If not, then, well, I'll be a headrunner.
You can see his helmet, he's got quite a bushy beard. Does that mean he's wise enough to fend off your challenges?
Yeah, we call him Gandalf for a reason. Yeah, he's wise, he's quick, but yeah, I'm behind him, so should be alright.
I need to talk to Jack Fisher. No. Jack, come. So race 5.
Yeah.
Obviously we had the incident with the red flag, which was a bit unfortunate. But you were in the lead of that race, weren't you?
I got myself into the lead on the restart, yeah. I got overexcited. And
You can say that again, Jack.
yeah, I just back came round. I clipped the curb, back came round on me, and that's that. I'm out the race pretty much.
For those of you who didn't watch in the morning, Jack was in the lead of race 5 and coming down into turn 1, under braking.
Too hard on the brakes and lost it, basically.
Have you got anything to say, an apology perhaps for your many adoring fans watching at home?
Many apologies. It's about time I retire, I think, to be honest. That's career ending, that a cock up like that, to be honest. Yeah.
Fisher fans, Jack has let you down. And you will make up for it this afternoon.
I'm up for it in Trash Champs. I'm going to lose the final.
It's a bold claim, but I think you can do it. Jack, good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you very much. This guy is a rookie.
This guy's a rookie. On pole position. First time in mains. Gandalf, I hear you called. Tell us what you can do from pole position.
Bennett.
In a sentence.
Don't fuck it up. Just try.
You can't swear on the stream.
Don't mess it up.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I'm going to stop talking to you because you did a swear and we don't like that.
This is my first time, did you not know?
This is the BUKC. We're all polite young gentlemen and gentle women.
Sorry.
Lots of apologies from the Leeds team. Not going to talk to them ever again. I'll talk to Tom Goodwin. I'll talk to Tom. He's shaking his head. I'll come find you later, Tom. I'll come find you later. Tom was involved in some sort of scandal back at Wilton Mill. That's enough from Leeds. Over here we've got Manchester Met. And I got Harry Taylor in the car. Harry, you were also leading the race earlier. What happened there?
Well, no excuse really. I just don't think I had the pace. I got into a good position at the start for a few laps. But then, like I said, once the tyres warmed up, I just don't think I had the raw pace. I was a few tenths off the leaders, so first time at the track, I guess. I'll use that as an excuse.
I was wondering when that was coming. Who are you pairing up with in this one?
I'm pairing up with Sam. He actually finished second in his race, but he came in and changed the kart, complaining that the kart wasn't great. Ended up, the kart was absolutely fine, and he got a 5-place penalty. So, I mean, he was quick, so it's looking all right.
Well, we've had 2 of those today, actually, kart change penalties. I don't think we've had... Loughborough was the other one, yeah. But yeah, looking good for this race then.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully I'm going to get a good start. My plan is just to take everyone out. Yeah? Yeah. I've not done it yet, so I just thought I'd give it a go. Why not?
The thing is, they'll false start it if more than 5 carts go off. 4 ahead of you, you'd have to bank on no one behind you binning it.
That's true. Well, we'll have to take it by ear then.
Probably a good plan. Harry, you have a good race. Okay, we're in apparently no danger of getting off. So let's see who we got further. I think I've seen Callum Brule. I have indeed. I'm going to go have a chat with Callum. Callum. Hello. Oh, let me have a sit down. I kind of crouched for the last one and my knees are killing me. Where are we starting here?
We're starting 12th. I'm a bit disappointed that Ben is starting, not Sam, because I've been waiting to race Sam for about 5 years, but I don't know, I might get to see him out on track, so.
Who would you say is better out of Ben and Sam?
I mean, it's hard to say. Sam's won today and Ben hasn't, so.
That's a good point.
But it only took Sam 8 years to get a sprint win, so.
How long did it take you?
I haven't done it, but I've only been here 5 years.
So you got another 2 years to go.
I'm graduating, so yeah. This is my last ever race. So.
Last ever. Well, you're not doing drivers' champ?
Drivers' champs, yeah. So it's my last ever proper BUKC.
An emotional experience then. Do you reckon you can sign off with a bang?
I hope so. We'll see. I'm just going to race.
Who are you paired up with?
I'm paired up with the lovely Kevin over there, Holland's best autocross racer. His first time in the mains round, but he's been doing pretty well, so we'll see.
We'll keep an eye out for you. Cheers, Callum. Okay, who's next, I guess? How far up the grid do you reckon we can get, James? A bit further? Not, yeah? Okay. We've had a chat with them. Let's have a chat with Birmingham, if we can get in there. Birmingham, who's going? Come on over. 3rd place. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's right, isn't it? It's a long time coming, but...
I feel like I should explain. Birmingham finished 3rd place this morning in round number 7. Our first podium of the season?
well, we came 3rd at qualifiers, but I don't know if that really counts.
It's like a half podium, man.
Yeah, so we've had 1.5 podiums this year.
So like, can we see another one this afternoon?
Well, that's definitely the plan. It's looking quite close in the championship, so would be nice to be up there again. No reason why not.
Who have we got in this first endurance? The dream team?
Yeah, it's Michael and Andreas. Andreas hasn't raced all year, and he's come back for this one. So we'll find out. His sprint race didn't count, so...
Okay. Okay.
He's good at getting penalties, so we'll just see what happens. That's what he's really good at.
Okay. Do you reckon he can not do that?
I've asked him really nicely, but I don't know. Well, I'll be fine.
Okay. If you just build up enough of a lead anyway.
Oh, that would be lovely, but I think I'd need to lose some weight to do that.
I don't know about that. I don't know about you. You're looking pretty trim, mate.
Oh, thank you.
Party tonight. What are you saying? Getting really drunk?
Reasonably.
Responsibly?
Responsibly drunk, yeah. I like that. Yeah. That's the plan.
Good to hear it. And who's your pick for Bandit of the Year?
Well, I did nominate one of my teammates because he took out our teammate twice in one race, but he's not here. I think I've got to go.
Yes, you do. Michael Air of Birmingham. We're stuck in the middle of the track for this one because I've left it way too late. Ben Simpson was on my right. Would have loved to have a chat with him, but never mind. This, I believe, is Joe Bleakley going off in the Brooks B. A little wave for me there. Oh, shit, I'm going to get run over. Andrew Howard, I'll pass back to you before I die.
And welcome back to the TV coverage as well. Thank you, Jacob, for down on the grid. 2 teams then from Oxford Brookes who could win the championship. 1 team from Huddersfield. Who's going to take it? Before we get onto that, Howard, give us a grid.
Absolutely. Leeds B start this one from pole and have Nottingham A alongside. Not going to do drivers' names because we remember they compete in a driver pairing in this one. So Nottingham A alongside. Leeds A and Oxford A make up the second row of the grid. Forgive me, just so I fit this in, folks, I'm going to go faster than the graphic. Row 3 is Imperial A and Manchester Met A. Then it's King's College A and Coventry A. Newcastle B and Bath B to round out the top 10. Row 6 is Warwick A and Cranfield A. Row 7, Northumbria B and Swansea B. Row 8, Nottingham Trent A and Birmingham A. Row 9, Warwick B, Northumbria A, rounding out the top 20, Bristol A and Brighton. Row 11, Brooks D and Southampton B. Row 12, Brunel A and Leeds C. Row 13, Newcastle A and Brooks B. Row 14, Bath A and Loughborough C. Row 15, University of West England A and Nottingham C, round out the top 30. Then it's Huddersfield A and Sheffield A on row 16. Row 17 is Brooks C and Coventry B. And row 18 is Cambridge A and Swansea A. That's your grid for race 1 of round 8. And we're good for a start already. We'll talk about the championship permutations as we go along. But Leeds B lead them away. It's Tom Mannering at the wheel of that. He's got Nottingham A alongside, though. Is it a clean start? There's someone across the grass, but they are all at least through to... Oh, they're not all quite.
Ben Simpson's off.
It's Warwick B has come to a stop there.
Nottingham off again.
Country, and there's 2 carts off at the S's.
One of them's Nottingham C, who are ineligible in this race, so that doesn't matter to them. But straight into the lead. What's the O?
Someone got hit off as well in the hairpin as well. There was some contact there, so look out for contact warnings potentially. but at the head of the field, it is going to be Leeds A who have got to the head of the field. It's the 26.
Not anymore. Imperial go through.
Absolutely, indeed. So Imperial A lead ahead of Leeds A, Oxford A, Manchester Metropolitan A, King's College A, Coventry A, Leeds B, Newcastle B, Cranfield A, and Warwick A. To round out your top 10.
The other spinner was Northumbria A, so unfortunately for them, that's not good for their hopes of trying to get a top 10 overall finish in the championship. Going into this race, they are 11th.
Yeah, Warwick B, Northumbria A, Loughborough C, Leeds C, and Nottingham C. Your carts all involved in a first lap incident there, which is so costly ahead of these. Sorry, I just saw a driver almost 2 carts off in the horseshoe. One of which is Bath, I believe. It is indeed the 25, and I saw the 31 come in, and I was rather scared for a moment. I was about to see quite a bad, it's Coventry B, the other cars involved. That looked like it was about to be a high-speed T-boning incident, if I'm honest, but fair play to the 31. He stomped on the brake and forced himself into a spin, but it meant that he killed off a lot of his speed, so it wasn't nearly as bad as it would have been had he not reacted like that.
Right, before we get into the who and what and wherefore in this race, let's just go through championship permutations. Let's do the easy one, which is the Oxford Brookes situation. How do you like this? If Oxford Brookes A beat Oxford Brookes B in this round, A win the championship. As simple as you like. The other team that could stop them is Huddersfield. If Huddersfield win the round, then they need Oxford Brookes A to finish 7th or 8th or lower, and Oxford Brookes B to finish 9th or lower within the round, and Huddersfield will have the most unbelievable comeback and take the BUKC for 2018. Brother Mike is in the room. The legend who, I think we have to say, started this whole shebang 2 years ago with an iPhone. In this very commentary box, has returned. Brother Mike is amongst us. Fantastic. Right, so for those who are new to this style of racing, just to go over a bit more housekeeping, pit stop window opens in 2 minutes time. Actually, in fact, 2 minutes time, with 5 minutes into the race, and then closes at 25 minutes. And then reopens at 35 minutes into the race and closes at 55 minutes. Mechanical flag for Bristol A. There's Ben Street in the Warwick kart, 3rd place at the moment. They've been very strong in endurance racing and back up and underway. Teams have to do 2 pit stops and at least 1 driver change. There's a battle for 5th. Oxford Brookes D going past Coventry A. Now, a little bit further down the road is Oxford Brookes B, so that's one of our championship contenders, currently in 9th. Huddersfield in 11th as well. And this early stage of this race, really, Howard, this is not the time to be throwing big banzai manoeuvres at people. It's all about getting yourself in a good position for the latter stage of this race, and that's exactly what I'm seeing Oxford Brookes B and Huddersfield doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because in some ways it is just an out-and-out race for position in the pit stops almost, but yeah, obviously there's absolutely no point in throwing it away in a banzai move here. Indeed, generally speaking, it's not that way until you get into the last 5 or 10 minutes of the race, to be perfectly honest, when the last pit stops have worked themselves out and you know this is for position, this matters a lot.
23 have been in. King's College A are your first pitters. Huddersfield are also in, as my timing screen's done a wobbly and highlighted everything. Oh dear. Brighton are in and Bristol A are in as well. Now we've seen Huddersfield do this tactic a lot this season of pitting very early, and they've made it work for them quite a few times as well.
I have to correct you on one thing, by the way. Bristol were not pitting, they had a mechanical. So they will have to visit the pit lane again, I think.
See Southampton B are in, Nottingham A are also in. So these pit stops will come quick and fast, folks. But if you see your team falling down the order, don't worry. 30 re-emerges from the pits. That's Southampton B. Nottingham A, who did have a chance of winning the championship going into this morning's racing, but unfortunately for them, they are now out of it. And I'm just going to check, because I think, yeah, they're out of the chance of a podium overall as well. The only team that could knock one of the current holders of an overall podium position off that podium is the number 1 of Loughborough A, currently sat 4th in the championship. And the only team that they can knock off is Huddersfield. So just to go over intermediates, Huddersfield B, King's College A, Newcastle and Liverpool, your 4 teams who can mathematically win the championship as one of the Leeds carts goes in. And it looks like it was Leeds C. Good battle this between one of the Brooks carts. As up the inside goes the 26, that's Leeds A, trying to get some positions. 79 of Manchester Metropolitan in there on their debut season in the BUKC, and great move there from Harry Taylor, and he is through. Nottingham there, and here comes Joe Bleakley. Right, here we go, on the scene for the first time, one of our championship contenders, and it's Oxford Brooks B as Leeds take to the grass, narrowly avoid Brooks B, but here comes Joe Bleakley, who had some bad luck in his sprint race this morning, but very consistent driver. Won the very first race of the year back at qualifiers in, and I think he's just gone in the pits. No, he hasn't gone in the pits, there he is. Won the very first race of the season, I remember, back at qualifiers in November at Wilton Mill. Was the only, oh, his round goes, oh, that's a bad luck for, that's Nottingham and I think Northumbria.
Yep.
It was Northumbria and it's Henderson, isn't it, who's lost it on the braking and taken Nottingham with him. And, well, the Nottingham driver's absolutely furious. Oh, James de Havilland's round. Oh, my goodness me. This is big for intermediate. That's not something I've said many times this season, but Newcastle, who didn't have a good round this morning. Let's see this on a replay. This is the Northumbria-Nottingham incident. And, yeah, Northumbria just on the brakes, lose the back end, get into Nottingham, off they go, into the tyre barrier, and bang. That's going to be the end of Nottingham's race, and a black flag for that incident for Northumbria.
Yeah.
There's the Brunel cart.
I should just say
that Stephen Letts is now in for Huddersfield as well, I've just noted.
Yep, Bristol A, by the way, have had some severe problems.
They've had a mechanical.
Just sat in the pit lane.
Yes.
We knew they had a mechanical, but they've been in there for a very long time. So something's happened that's, I'm afraid, rather destroying their race early on.
So here is an interesting bit of interaction on track. 23 and 45 battling for intermediates. And, James de Havilland gets forced off the road there and loses a couple of positions to the 25 and the 31. The recovering Nottingham cart, the number 4, is behind them now. But yes, rough time so far for Newcastle. Not the start to this afternoon's round that they wanted.
Bristol have emerged from the pit lane after about a 6-minute pit stop. So something clearly didn't go right for them.
Sorry, great move by the Sheffield A driver, number 12. Takes both 23 and 79 through that corner. Oh, it's contact, and that's KCL!
That's KCL!
Oh, it's KCL take out Sheffield!
Do they keep it going?
Doesn't matter, they're going to get a penalty for that.
Yeah.
That was not good at all. Here we go, down into the hairpin, under braking, 23, not fully alongside, and bang, into the side of Sheffield A. Manchester Metropolitan nearly joined them as well. And, well, just as we said this morning, it's a funny thing, pressure. It's funny what it does. And KCL have really put themselves on the back foot now. There's the black flag. Oh, dear me. KCL, the favourites for this part of the championship, are in trouble here in race 1. Ten minutes in, spinner down at the horseshoe. It's the number 29 Brighton cart. Drivers coming through the order. There's James de Havilland. James de Havilland's in. I think he's got a problem. I think he's got a problem. I saw him looking down at the cart earlier on. In from the top 20. There's a couple of our Premier teams coming through. There's a driver to look out for, Stephen Letts, in the green and orange suit. the yellow helmet. Very quick driver for Huddersfield.
But notably a lap down on the karts around him, having done his pit stop.
45 re-emerges from the pits. Penalty for the number 4, which is Nottingham A, for a track limits, using more track than he's allowed to. Meanwhile, just to keep an eye on Oxford Brookes B, they've done their pit stop, remember. They've emerged in 12th place. And I think we might be passing down to the pit lane any moment now. Jacob Harris down in the pits for us.
Imperial or Warwick or Leeds A so far.
And
they seem to be doing a very long first stint. In fact,
the
Imperial have just gone by now. We'll keep our eyes out for them down here in the grid, in the pits. But for now, back to you.
Back with us in comms. That was a very short chat with a guy who seemed a bit sheepish in front of camera. There's Leeds A, 3rd place at the moment, running very well. Not pitted yet. Now this is what I like about Clay Pigeon, Howard. I know you like about Clay Pigeon as well. We have a pit stop counter, as there's a penalty for, for Manchester Metropolitan. There's a pit stop counter, so we can see who the highest runner at the moment having completed a pit stop is, and that's Oxford Brookes D, currently in 10th place.
Bearing in mind it will show up with black flags, which is why King's
True,
College A,
yeah. That's
Bristol,
a good point.
Well, Bristol was with the mechanical, wasn't it?
Yes. But makes it a lot easier for us up in the commentary box.
Absolutely. And indeed it can make it easier
that's
for
a
you as
naughty
well.
bit of
It's the
driving.
29, that's Brighton, isn't it? Brighton go off.
Well, I'm afraid to say that was the 29's fault. I'm not quite sure what the driver of the 29 was doing there, but forcing himself inside. Let's have a look at this again.
So
he's not got any kind of overlap at all, apart from very late there. And I'm going to go with the Leeds A driver there. You would not expect a driver to do that to you on that corner.
Yeah, it's like when someone tries to go up the inside of Cafe Corner at Botmore, isn't it? It's sort of, you know what? Oh, the 40 is going backwards. There wasn't foot on the brake.
Nottingham C, they're ineligible in this race.
Yeah.
Into the pits, the Leeds A. From 3rd place. Oxford emerged from the pit lane as well, the number 5. And a contact warning for Manchester Metropolitan. It is something I've noted with Manchester Metropolitan. They've had a very strong start to their time in the BUKC, but they do get a few too many contact warnings and penalties for my liking.
I mean, I don't want to get too controversial this early on, mate. There's been a score of teams who have felt that way about this year, if I'm perfectly honest. It has, yes, been a bit scruffy for Manchester Met at times, but they have had an extremely impressive year as the debut season. Stephen Letts for Huddersfield A, we said he was one to watch, sets a 40.993 lap time. He's really going for it. Someone else who's really going for it is Joe Bleakley, as Sheffield get a penalty for track limits. So that's going to be a 10-second penalty for them. Just looking to see, there's a driver coming around now who was spun around in the horseshoe, and it's the 18 of Loughborough C.
Big moment this coming up. Oxford Brookes B starting to close in now on their teammates in the D karts, and those are 2 karts that have both stopped highest up the road. So in a way, you could say that Joe Bleakley is second on the road at this stage of proceedings, which is just what Oxford Brookes B need.
If you wish to follow along, don't forget you can follow along the timings at live.alphatiming.co.uk/BUKC. And don't forget, I think we're going to hand down to Jake, aren't we?
Yeah, down to Jacob.
Yeah, Sam Cobb's just jumped in the Warwick cart. It's a fairly clean stop. He goes back out on track. Ben Street's just jumped out, but I'm afraid he's not going to come chat to me because I've already had too much to say to him before the race. Andrew, Howard, back to you, see where they come out. Back to you.
Back to us here in the comms box. Nobody seems to want to talk to Jacob today.
I do. I have. You know, it's weird.
Yeah, but you're up here.
I haven't actually spoken to Jacob much since arriving. Usually we get to have a meal before the night before the round, but not just him and I. Others are involved. But absolutely. So, don't forget. Sorry, what was the point I was making? There we go. You can follow along the live timings. Don't forget live.alphatime.co.uk/BUKC. Can be difficult or harder to follow, I think, the endurance races because the gaps you can be talking about can be bigger. But don't forget, if you're looking out for a favourite, you can highlight them on the circuit tracker on the page by clicking their position number. So if you wanted to follow Cranfield A right now, who have just got a contact warning but do happen to lead the race as I say this, you could click on the position 1 number and it'll highlight their dot. You don't need to do that for Cranfield though, because they are leading the race and thus are already highlighted by a gold dot. But you get the idea. Click on the position of the kart you want, and you can click on it twice to get it in a different colour. Loads of fun to be had there. So if you've got a particular kart, you can follow those around them and themselves on the circuit tracker.
Oh, Stephen Letts going for a bit of rallycross there. I'm not quite sure what the number 5 was doing there, forcing the 6 out wide. But Letts lives to fight another day. I was just going to say, great work by Imperial A. Led the race early on. They've done their pit stop and have emerged in 3rd place, just ahead of Warwick A and Brooks B. So Warwick A also have done some good work here. This duo of Cobb and Ben Street.
Kart off at the hairpin.
There they are, in the tyres. Well-loved tyres today.
They are, aren't they?
Was that the 42 of Bath B? Might well have been. There's your leader, Warwick B. That's a good recovery. They had a spin on lap 1, but they're back up to the front now. They do owe us a pit stop, though. And, the on a spin! Ben Simpson round, loses the lead. Well, it was a 50-50 move. Warwick B trying to recover. Bit of a racing incident, but that's bad news for them. Here we go, down into the horseshoe again, trying to make a move on the 47. The 47 has left the gap wide open, then just turns in. Yes, it's a bit frustrating when that happens. Probably a bit of a 50-50 move there, but that's not good news for Ben Simpson. Right, here we go. Here's a battle that we want to be looking at, because this is for the race and for the championship. Oxford Brooks B and Joe Bleakley lined up with Stephen Letts for Huddersfield B. Huddersfield A, sorry.
And Letts up the inside there of Bleakley at the hairpin, wasn't it? That's a change of position. So I think Bleakley just got past... excuse me.
Yeah.
Letts just got past Bleakley. So Huddersfield A now ahead of Brooks B. All of these teams have now done their stops. So we have now got representative positions. All of the teams at the front, have done their stops down to 9th placed Warwick B, who, of course, Ben Simpson has just had that spin. But that means that all of the racing you're watching now is representative. They are racing together on merit and not due to pit strategy. So it is Brooks D, the number 50 ahead of Warwick A by 2 seconds. 1 second behind them is what we're watching right now. Huddersfield A with Stephen Letts at the wheel and Joe Bleakley at the wheel of the Brooks B kart as Stephen Letts gets a contact warning. And of course it's, I said the gap was a second from Warwick A to Steve Letts. Not anymore, because Steve Letts is right with Sam Cobb. This is the battle for second place.
Letts is going to get through. He's got the run on the inside into the chicane and through.
That was a textbook use of the cutback through turn 2. Get a couple of wheels on the curb. There is plenty of curbing on the inside of that corner, and just gave himself the opportunity up the S's. That was fantastic stuff from Stephen Letts. Not the first time we've seen him do it today.
So Huddersfield up to second place then. They are 2.3 seconds behind Oxford Brooks D, or they were. It's starting to close again. Now here's one of the key points of this round. Oxford Brookes haven't just got 2 teams out there, they've got 4, and the Oxford Brookes C and D teams could be very, very useful for their counterparts in the A and B team today. Their job really has got to be, at any opportunity, compromise Huddersfield. Do it fairly, of course, but here's one of those opportunities now, because Oxford Brookes D, being caught by Huddersfield, could try and hold them up here, I think, Howard. Maybe start backing them into the likes of Warwick and Oxford Brookes B again.
Yep, don't disagree. Just trying to identify who's at the wheel of the Brookes D car. I'm not as familiar with the race suit and the helmet combination. I think it might be Curtis Granger, but don't quote me on
Yes,
that.
I think it is.
At the moment in the Brookes D cart.
Challenge behind. Joe Bleakley closing in on Sam Cobb. This is the fight over 3rd place. Of course, let's not forget that the rivalry between the Brookes cars is a friendly rivalry, but first thing in motorsport is always beat your teammate, or your teammates in this case. And the Oxford Brookes B team will be hungry to do this, as having a little look there is Bleakley round the outside, hasn't got the speed there. Cobb goes defensive again, but cuts back. That should get him a better line, but no, Bleakley's going to get alongside into the chicane and through. So Sam Cobb gets done again there by the switchback, as there's a driver off down at the hairpin. It's the 38 who's gone for a spin there.
That's Swansea B.
Swansea B down in 28th place now around. Oh, it's not being a good race this for Northumbria. That's another penalty for them. They had a black flag earlier on in this race.
It's for track limits, and at the same time Bristol A have been given a track limits warning as well. Although, to be honest, at this point Bristol was so held up by their technical difficulties at the start of the race that they're having an extended practice session, I suppose, is the way people like to put a silver lining on it.
I think we've got Jacob Harris down in the pit lane. Jacob, if you can hear us, what have you got for us?
Andrew Howard, into the pits comes former race leader Ben Simpson for Warwick B. Ben was in the lead before being unceremoniously binned off. And I'll wave him over to me now. He's not at all looking. Get him over. I did say as he drove off on the grid, it'd be lovely to have a chat with him. And he's got his opportunity now. He looks, I was going to say, dejected. I know, you see, he's having a chat with me. Ben, you're in the lead of that.
Was I?
Until you got binned.
I got binned at the start. I had no idea where I was.
At the start?
I was the only person to go off on turn 1. Thank you.
I was reliably informed over the radio that you're in the lead till about 5 minutes ago and you got binned by a back marker.
That's not true. I binned myself on Michael Gibbons.
Okay.
That was fully my fault.
I'm going to have a strong word with the person who's on the other end of the radio then. How is it out there?
It's pretty fun. We've got an absolute, rocket, which is probably why I was in the lead. But yeah, I was stone dead last at the start. Went from 17th straight to the back.
Was that your first pit stop?
Yeah, which is also why, yeah.
That'll be why, because everyone else came in and stopped. Okay, Ben, what are your hopes for this then? You're still running top 10?
Are we?
Yeah. Well, you were until you came in.
Oh, really? Well, we're probably midfield, so Sam Stevens is out at the moment. He's very quick around here with a quick cart as well. I'm sure we can get something good out of it. But that's a binning and a spin. That's taken into consideration.
Not bad effort for an afternoon's work.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we've got car number 34 coming in the grid now, but it's about time we hand it back to our commentators, Andrew and Howard.
Unfortunate incident for Ben. And the race continuing. Oh, it's a big collision down the pit straight. It was between the 5 and the 7.
That's Oxford and Brunel.
Yeah, well, now this is an interesting one, because the driver number 7 will say, well, number 5 had the blinkers on and turned in on me, but it was kind of similar to the one we saw with Brighton earlier, where a driver just stuck their nose in through Billy's blind, through this very fast corner. This time it was the driver being hit that came off worse. And there's another black flag for, oh, that's a repeat of the black flag show, but yeah, difficult to say, because yes, when you're racing in these conditions, you should be aware of who's around you, but similarly, when you're overtaking someone, you should do it in a safe manner. And as the faster drivers here in the BUKC, need to remember that there's drivers with less experience on track with them, and that was one of those classic situations with the number 5 getting taken out there.
Absolutely. Car was also stationary at the corner known as right hand, which I'm certain is not.
There's contact again, and this is going to be big, Howard. The 5 is off again in another element of them being a little bit nervy and turning in on a driver. The driver they turned in on was Joe Bleakley in the number 11. Now, how is that going to be looked at? Because, again, it's the exact same thing. The faster driver has knocked the number 5 off in an overtaking manoeuvre, but the number 5 is being a little bit all over the place.
Penalty for Loughborough C, bump and pass. That's just come in. That compounds their race, having already had a spin at the horseshoe earlier on.
Now here's the driver in second place, Oxford Brooks D. The 42 is off again, that's Bath B. They've had a tough season. Very tough season, but a learning season. I'm sure they'll be back next year.
Drone Dan Shots, always good to see. I always give him a shout out because I love him so much. It's been really good to have Dan on board giving those shots for us this year. So we are past the halfway point then, as what's the battle going on there? That's between Warwick and Coventry, isn't it, Andrew?
Down to the hairpin now, yeah. And that's Coventry ahead of Warwick as well.
It is. So that's a change for position there for 14th. If they hold on to it, looks like Neil Vincent is at the wheel of the Coventry cart at the moment. Here we are tracking them through the final part of the lap on the drone cam. So they're just putting a lap on karts, and Neil Vincent, I think, has got past Sam Cobb. So look for that to be confirmed as they come across the timing beacon this time around.
Yellow
Indeed.
flag is out down at Billy's blind. Can't quite see what it's for. I think it's behind the Huddersfield motorhome.
Indeed.
Which is called the Cougar.
Oh, and just on the drone cam there, we caught a driver's gone round.
It's one of the
Is
Leeds
that
drivers.
Leeds?
Yep.
It's Prem, which suggests
Leeds
it's
A.
26. So Leeds A, spin round. Where were they running? They were running 15th. So unfortunate for them. Now we're coming up to halfway, sorry. I think I was a bit premature saying that. Halfway mark, Huddersfield A lead this one then by 4.2 seconds from Oxford Brooks D. Oxford Brooks B are running third, for the 5 seconds down from their sister team. And then there's this fantastic battle we're watching between the 14 of Coventry A and the 16 of Warwick A, who are side by side through the hairpin. Sam Cobb trying to get past Neil Vincent, and he's got the job done. So Warwick A moved back up to fourth. But make no mistake about it, Neil Vincent will be doing his utmost to correct that. Imperial A are running 6th, Birmingham A are running 7th, Brunel A are 8th, Manchester Metropolitan A are 9th, 10th are Oxford Brooks C. As there is a black flag for Newcastle B for spinning under yellows. So they shall be paying an additional visit to the pit lane. So we haven't talked about the pit window so far. We've had the first pit window of the race. That was between 5 and 25 minutes into the race. The second pit window will be between 35 and 55 minutes into this 60-minute race. So you get this, we're in the middle of this 10-minute window now where everything you see is representative. There's no pit strategy at play as such. If you're unfamiliar with the pit stops, when they come in, they have to brim the tank, so there's no fueling strategy in that sense. The optimal strategy on paper is to pit early as soon as the 5 minutes are up in that first pit window, because theoretically, as there's a driver very far off in the hairpin. Oh, his gesture at camera. That was an amazing.
I missed that.
That's the closest I think we've had a spun driver to the camera. Turns around
give us a wave?
And just go disappointed, dejected. Why me?
Luke,
the
if
camera.
you can hear it, I'd love a replay of that. As penalty for the 72.
The track limits. That is. It's the 42 Bath B driver. That's the. How can I put this kindly? That's not his first visit to. It's not the first time the pusher carts have visited him this race. So yes, they have to bring the tank. So in theory, the best thing to do strategically is to bring the tank really early at the first pit stop, because you've only used 5 minutes worth of fuel, so you've got the least time to spend bringing the tank. So theoretically, that makes sense as their best strategy, as Neil Vincent gets a little bit argy-bargy, putting a lap on the Brighton kart there. This is Coventry A we're talking about. And, oh, here's the replay.
So
here's
the driver
Bath B.
standing up and, hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again.
That is, if it's any consolation, you've probably made it onto many a montage of this season as the symbol of, we'll say, perseverance. That was brilliant. I was recording something. It was a track limits warning for Cranfield. There we go. Which we spoke about a moment ago. So we're just approaching now the second pit window of this first race of this final round of BUKC for 2018. Don't forget, hashtag BUKC 2018. And thank you to people who have messaged in via Twitter, who is in the cart from them. And
track limit warning for Birmingham A, who took their first mains podium of the season in round 7.
They did, didn't they? Did they have a podium at qualifiers?
They did in qualifiers, but
of the main season proper. Yeah, no, I take your point, mate. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, good sprint round for them. It's been one of those things, hasn't it, actually, that's been sort of, and Neil Vincent really looking for a way past Sam Cobb here. He was weaving left and right, trying to get it. He's got the job done on the inside of Horseshoe.
Coventry, 47s followed them through. That's UEA. We've had a mixed season, the UWE team. They've had some good speed.
First pitters of the second pit window, by the way, Andrew. Southampton B and Cranfield are in the pits.
It's still Huddersfield A then, leading at this stage of the race. 5.5 seconds clear of Oxford Brooks D.
Have we mentioned this is for position on screen, by the way? You were talking about University of West England. Was that in relation to this?
Yes, you're right. That is for position. That's over 13th place. So still some decent points to be played for there.
As Brighton make their pit stop. Andrew and I have just started closing windows and wrapping up in the comms box.
It's getting quite chilly.
It's getting quite chilly. So we don't have the kart engine to warm us up, you see. Yeah, so temperature dropping here at Clay Pigeon. Always love this circuit.
I'm not going to complain though, considering what we had last weekend.
I'm not going to complain either, considering it does always feel bad, doesn't it, when the camera crew come in and the weather's been terrible. We go.
Good job, chaps.
Good job. Sorry for the injustice that we've been in the comms box and you've been manning a camera outside. They do a fantastic job.
Yes.
As always.
Big pitters.
Big pitters. Huddersfield A are into the pit lane. That's our race leaders.
And I think we're going to try and pass down to the pit lane. Yes, let's pass down to the pit lane. Jacob's got Huddersfield down there in the pit lane.
Andrew, trouble for Huddersfield. They had to queue up at the fuel bowser. They're only just getting fueled up now. Stephen Letts has jumped out of the car. I can't quite tell who it is jumping in. I don't recognise the white helmet and grey suit. I did ask for Steven to come over and have a chat with me just as he jumped out, but he may be a little ticked off that he had to queue up for a fuel Bowser. That has dented their chances of winning this race. And yes, indeed, Steven has walked straight off. I won't accuse him of storming off or anything. He may well just have not been told to come have a chat with me. We'll try and catch up with them later. And Andrew, Howard.
That's all they can do, really, to try and wrestle this championship back. It is one they've won before. They won it back at Wilton Mill. I'm thinking now, how many years ago was it now?
Which one's this? Sorry, mate.
Huddersfield.
Huddersfield won in 2006.
It's earlier than that because it was the very first commentary we did. I want to say 2014. We've been doing this that long now. I can't remember what's ever happened.
It was 2015.
Thank you, 2015. And of course, they've decided championships here before as well. I remember the last time we were here in 2016. It was a move by Ollie Greenwood in the very last race of the season on Oxford Brooks A that day, which flipped some points around and gave the championship to Coventry. So Huddersfield have a history at this circuit in particular. They, I think they also got a third place overall in the championship that year as well. Oxford Brooks C are into the pits. I saw a penalty as well there for Cambridge A for track limits.
Yep.
Birmingham A have also made a pit stop. They've been quietly getting along in this race. In the top 10, Michael Gibbons back out there for them.
I think
20 and a half minutes to go. Sorry, Howard.
That's okay. I think I have on the subject of championships getting decided here, Andrew, I think this might be the first finals weekend. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but this might be the first finals weekend at Clay Pigeon where Coventry didn't win the championship. Because they won it in 2014 when we were here, and they won it in 2016 when we were here, and I'm not sure we used to hold Maine's final weekend here.
Move there, we just saw Michael Gibbons of Birmingham going past both, I think it was UE and Brooks C.
Yeah, really good battle that one going on out there. And yes, indeed, it's now Birmingham ahead of
Warwick
Brooks
B
C.
involved in there as well.
Yep. I'm wondering now, I've got to check what the calendar...
Brooks B in. Crucial pit stop this. Huge pit stop for the championship. Producer James is running to the commentary right, so no, that's never a good sign. 19 and a half minutes to go then here. Oxford Brooks D leading the race as we're cycling through the pit stops. Warwick A second. There is Oxford Brooks B back out on the road now. Imperial A in fourth, but this is a crucial stint now for Oxford Brooks B. This is all about setting themselves up. They race in race 2 with Oxford Brooks A in the same race, but then they're done. That's their season done. And I think we can now pass down to the pit lane. Jacob's got some more people to have a chat with.
Our race leaders just going out now. That's them there. Let's have a quick chat to their teammates. Kyle pushed them off. Kyle, you're not D's, but pitted from the leads. Can they hold on to this?
Who is it? Who's in the lead?
Your D team, the one you just pushed out.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I can't see why not.
You're the worst person to ask, aren't you? Are you D team? What's the chance of you guys holding on to this one?
Yeah, I think we have good chances.
Yeah. Who's out in the car now?
Josh Capu.
Okay, Howard, Andrew, and a pass back to you. How's Josh getting on?
I think it was how Josh was getting on. I'm guessing if that's Josh and that's Nottingham.
That's Josh from Brooks.
25th.
25th.
So it's about
clawing it back.
Bearing in mind he had the incident. Well, he's got a track limits warning penalty, and he went off at turn 2.
Yep.
Oh, and just as I look up, lead C, Tom Dent has just gone around Horseshoe.
Careful, Tom. Don't give yourself a carte blanket. Don't fall. Yeah, there you go.
Oh. I think the pit camera is being added
to our screen internally. So
is
we
it
can
our
see,
screen internally?
yes.
Begging pardon. Right.
So we can see what's going on.
Okay.
As UWE are into the pits. contact warning for the number 15.
That's Southampton A.
It is indeed. Should give an update as well on Zach Nixon's condition. He has gone to hospital. That is all we know right now from his accident that he had in, I want to say it was race 5 in sprints this morning.
Yeah, it was.
We did see Zach be able to be helped into the car. He was talking, he was smiling. Suspected ankle injury, so that's the latest on Zach Nixon's condition, but I'm afraid to say, having seen the way he was in a bit of discomfort, I think that's Zach Nixon's season over, which is a shame, a real shame.
Yeah, it is. And just in terms of complete housekeeping, by the way, I think from memory under the rules that is the only situation in which Southampton can race one driver across 2 races in this round and still be points eligible, just as that little bit of housekeeping. Force majeure, of course, coming into play.
Penalty.
Yep.
For Newcastle B, track limits. Also some pit stops for Bath A and Nottingham Trent A. Interesting this, I'm just looking at timing. We've not noted that Huddersfield A are now sat behind Brooks B and Brooks D after those second pit stops. So Brooks B now your effective leaders on the road. And this is just what Oxford Brooks B were wanting, as who's that down at turn 2 who's off. And I do think we can now head down to the pits. Warwick A in for their second pit stop.
Yes, Andrew, Sam Cobb jumps out, fuel goes in, he passes over to Ben Street. All looks relatively good. Ben gets that fuel cap back on, and away he goes. Good pit stop there from the Warwick team. Sam appears to be having a debrief with his team. We'll head back. Up to you guys. I'll try and get hold of someone later.
Oxford A, sorry, comes into the pits. That drive's had an eventful half an hour.
Spinning down at turn 2 with Southampton Q.
But Oxford Brooks B now leading the race with quarter of an hour to go by 2.3 seconds from Oxford Brooks D and Huddersfield A. Warwick now in 4th, Imperial A 5th as the 32 of Swansea A is in the pits. Coventry A 6th, Warwick B 7th, Birmingham A 8th, Oxford Brooks C 9th and Sheffield A in 10th place.
Not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination, is it? In fact, the gap now... in fact, Huddersfield A in the traffic have got past Brooks D. So change for second place there as they crossed the line last time around, and the gap through the traffic is now just 1.3 seconds. So Ollie Milner is, as the 59 goes round, as I look out the window again, I should stop looking out the window, it's a bad omen. But the lead gap is going down here. And through the traffic, if Ollie Milner can pick them off, then he may well get onto terms.
That's 0.6 of a second. That's come down a lot. And Huddersfield have just taken 0.8 of a second out of Oxford Brooks B. This race is on. This is what we want here in round 8 of the BUKC for 2018. Championship contenders at the front. What must Oxford Brooks A be thinking at this point as well? Sat in the paddock waiting for their turn to have their first race, which will be race 2. Ben Street's on the move as well. There he is in the grey suit and the white helmet with the black shoulders. Now up to 3rd. He's past Oxford Brooks D as well. And we know, Howard, he's got the speed to win one of these races.
Absolutely. Have we got who's in the Brooks B?
Not sure. It might be Daniel Burgess, I think.
I agree. It might be. Which is not a very definitive statement, but I think you may have a point. So, looking on screen, if you're watching the live stream, courtesy of Alpha Live, you're looking out for the number 11, your race leader, and the number 6, the Huddersfield A car that's hunting them down, and then a further 3 seconds back, it's the number 16 of Warwick A. And indeed, it's Brooks B from Huddersfield A, Warwick A, Brooks D, Coventry A. Warwick B currently running 6th, but owes a stop. Birmingham A as you said earlier, Andrew, having a decent run, just a quiet, calm run at the moment in 7th place. BUKC at 8th, 9th is Sheffield, and 10th are Manchester Metropolitan A. As we're into the final quarter of an hour of this race, so we're getting towards that period. Once you've had that second stop, it is an out-and-out battle. There's been a few incidents in this one. We've had, as I think we're ready to go down to the pits.
Yeah, we're heading down to Jacob. Who have you got into the pits for us, mate?
Back down here in the pit lane. Warwick B are in for their second stop, and it's a double stint. Ben Simpson hopped out of the car earlier, and he's just about to come to explain to us exactly what the tactics are here. Ben.
Hello again.
I was assuming that we'd see you back in the car.
No, so I did a long first stint, which is why we were leading, because we hadn't pitted until the very end. And then Sam is doing a double stint. It's sort of a reverse double stint. Normally the double stinter goes first, but we switch it up. Like to be different.
Incredible tactics, Ben. He just pitted from 6th there. Can you maintain top 10?
Absolutely not. No.
Never mind then.
With 2 spins.
All right. We'll head back down to Andrew and Howard.
Cheers.
Thank you, Jacob. Back here in the commentary box. The lovely commentary conservatoire.
It is. It's like a little greenhouse on a tower. It's a brilliant comms box. I always love coming here. I have to say, if you're wondering, okay, it's an endurance race, but how important is it to avoid penalties and keep it on the grey stuff and keep circulating? 63% of the field by this point have had some form of spin, accident or penalty. And as I say Birmingham have a penalty for multiple contact. So if you're out there and how important is it? It's important. There are only...
And Imperial have just got one now.
Oh, well, they're ruining the pattern. But the point is, it is important to keep it clean, keep it consistent. There are now only...
Oh, goodness. Stop it, guys. This is getting like Hooton Park again. Penalty for the number 5, Oxford A.
There are now only 11 teams circulating who haven't had some form of incident, mechanical failure. I say that, we've only had one team with mechanicals, but incident, spins, penalties, that sort of thing. So consistency does pay off.
Just looking at the comparative lap times, BUKC and Huddersfield A. BUKC holding themselves at the moment. They've done almost identical first sectors on this lap alone. So, bit of a job on here for Ollie Milner to catch, we think it's Daniel Burgess at the wheel of the Oxford BUKC cart. Just coming up to lap, James de Havilland in the Newcastle cart. Newcastle, by the way, up to 16th place, so getting along steadily. The trouble is they've used up the fast card in a way. If this was a game of poker, they've used James de Havilland's resources up in this one. And it's an interesting dynamic, I think, in the intermediates, Howard, where you have teams which are more all-round teams and they're on pace of pretty much all 4 of their drivers. I'm thinking Huddersfield B, I'm thinking King's College. But then you have the teams which have, maybe one really outstanding driver and then a number of drivers in support. That really is the Liverpool or the Newcastle role. So it's quite crucial then if the driver that's clear top number 1 driver within the team, like de Havilland is for Newcastle, if his race or the race he's involved in doesn't go as well as perhaps others, really puts the pressure on those other drivers who are maybe not used to be able to pull out that level of performance.
Absolutely, and yes, it's an interesting one for de Havilland.
It's 2 penalties
it
for
is 2 penalties.
BUKC
in quick succession, 4 track limits. I'm going to count that as 2. It's not a repeat showing of a penalty. We don't really get those. So 2 track limit penalties in quick succession. Yes, I mean, it's interesting. De Havilland had that spin at the hairpin. That's a very unusual thing. Did we see what led to that? Was it an unforced error? But it was Yeah, just an interesting exercise. Teams who have had, as far as I can tell, and because we've had the pit tracker through Alpha Live here, I've been fairly on top of it for once. Teams who have had no form of issue, penalty, spin, anything. BUKC currently running 7th, Huddersfield A currently running 2nd, Brunel A currently running 10th, Brooks B are current race leaders, Coventry A in 4th, Warwick A in 3rd, Bath A, as far as I can tell, have had a decent race. They're currently running 16th. Swansea A, who are 12th, University of West of England A, they're 14th at the moment, and I don't believe Manchester Metropolitan have got a penalty yet either.
Did you say yet?
No, as I say that, I was like, no, hang on, I've seen a penalty for them. That's why I said that, because they haven't really got a bumper pass. So ignore that. But the point I'm trying to make is, Andrew, if you want to, there is a link. All of the teams I just mentioned are in the top half of the field and are on for a good result here, as there's a penalty for Sheffield A for track limits, which is their second penalty of that description. Bear in mind, we saw Sheffield having an incident with King's College A up at the hairpin early on in the race. So it's been an eventful one there. It's been an interesting one from the intermediate class perspective. Newcastle with the spin, King's College with a black flag for that incident. And with Huddersfield B aren't in this one, are they?
Nope.
So they're not racing yet. About to enter at least, the final 5 minutes of this one then. Brooks B are your leaders. We need to keep an eye on the front here because we're talking very casually, but there's actually only a 1.1 second lead between Brooks B and Huddersfield A. Warwick A have been running well and are in 3rd in the number 16. Coventry A are 4th in the number 14. Brooks D are 5th in the number 50. Birmingham A are running 6th in the number 10. Brooks C 7th in the number 3. Sheffield A 8th in the number 12. Manchester Metropolitan A 9th in the number 79. And Brunel A running 10th in the number 7. There are 1 or 2 penalties to be applied post-race here and there to some of those teams. But crucially, our top 2 runners, I believe our top 3 runners are absolutely, I have to keep realising, our top 4 or 5 runners are absolutely fine in terms of penalties to be applied. So we need to keep an eye on the gap then between Huddersfield A and Brooks B. As I was saying, we believe Daniel Burgess at the wheel of Brooks B's kart, and who's at the wheel of the Huddersfield kart? Is it Milner or Letts at the moment? It's Milner. With Ben Street piloting the Warwick kart. There's the Brooks C car on your screens for those watching the live stream, currently running in 7th. And right on the tail of Birmingham A, with Sheffield's Benjamin Topless just behind them. Actually, Birmingham A have managed to get break out a bit of a gap in the traffic. It's Michael Gibbons at the wheel of that kart at the moment. You'll just see him flash the shot there. Then there's the 47, then there's the 3. 47 is a lap down. It's University of West of England. 3 minutes to go.
Sorry, mate. Well caught. Birmingham A are actually in one of these very interesting battles in the championship. They are tied on points going into this one, counting points this is, by with Southampton. Now we know Southampton are down a driver, so that may compromise them slightly, but Southampton currently have the tiebreaker in that one as well, so look out for that battle as it goes on. Nottingham A are, well, I think Nottingham A with this one are pretty much destined for 5th place in the championship. They've got to fend Warwick off though, and we can see them doing very well at the moment. Then you've got a bit of a three-way battle between Exeter A, Brooks C and Northumbria A to get the final positions in the top 10 and be ranked as one of the top 10 for the 2019 season. Ooh, I don't like saying that. 2019 season. 2 minutes to go then. Oxford Brooks B lead by 1.1 seconds over Huddersfield A. So we've got our two contenders for the championship in this particular race at the front, not giving it up yet.
This is a fantastic battle we're watching over 7th place, I've got to say. Brooks C defending hard here against Benjamin Topless in the Sheffield kart, who's trying every which way he can to get through here. Obviously you don't want to have an incident towards the end of the race, but at the same time we're at crunch point now. It's not about working together or keeping it clean and consistent. It's about, if you're in a battle now, go for it now, because there's less than 90 seconds left of this race, and for these drivers, of course, it's their last race of the main championship season.
It is indeed. We're looking here at the battle for 7th place. This is the Oxford Brooks C team in Sheffield fighting just behind Birmingham A as well. Not too far behind Birmingham A. Birmingham A, a couple of carts up the road. And Sheffield A, we talked to Rob Newman on the BUKC radio podcast. It's been a bit of an up and down, a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde season for them. Off is the 25, and seemed to have parked it and said, that's us done.
That's Bath A. They had already had a spin.
33 seconds to go. Just trying to see where the leaders are. They've just crossed the start-finish line now, so this will be the final lap. Leader has a bit of traffic ahead of them. Harry Taylor behind in the Manchester Metropolitan kart, and then Ollie Milner in the number 6. They're well clear of Coventry A and Warwick A, who are continuing to having a Warwickshire derby there. Oxford Brooks D have driven well in this race, Howard, up there in 5th. That's a good result for them.
Yep.
Once again showing the talent depth that Brooks have. But coming round then, here come the leaders then, and this is just what they wanted. Oxford Brooks B win the first race in round 8. They take 60 points. Huddersfield A takes 2nd. They take 59. That is quite a statement here in round 8 of the BUKC 2018 at Clay Pigeon. Coventry A win the battle of the Warwickshire Unis in 3rd. Warwick A are going to be 4th. And then we're going to wait for Oxford Brooks D to finish 5th. And then it should be Birmingham A to finish 6th, although we do know they have a penalty. There they are across the line. Oxford Brooks C is 7th. And where have Sheffield gone? Where have Sheffield gone? Oh, Sheffield well, they're not going to lose any positions because they were the last cart on the lead lap, but Sheffield A have not come across start-finish. Where are they?
He's looking frustrated, but running around the final part of the lap.
He thinks a lunge on the last lap went wrong.
But as you say, whilst the driver may not know it right now, he actually hasn't lost anything there because of how it worked with that kart.
There's the clubhouse. Fantastic clubhouse here at Clay Pigeon Raceway. That balcony is going to get fuller and fuller over the course of the afternoon.
And that balcony went wild as Brooks B took the win there, Andrew. A lot of Brooks team members on the balcony to celebrate.
Well, half the job's done. You've just got to do the other half now. But Oxford Brooks B, leading the championship going into the final round, win race 1. Huddersfield A takes 2nd, Coventry A 3rd, Warwick A 4th, Oxford Brooks D 5th, Birmingham A 6th, Oxford Brooks C 7th, Sheffield A 8th, Manchester Metropolitan 9th, and Brunel A wrap out your provisional, very provisional, top 10 pre-penalties being posted. We're going to pass down to the grid, which is now forming for race 2. Jacob Harris is down there, as ever, to be the master of ceremonies for us down there on the grid.
Hey, Andrew. I'm here with Brooks B, who've just won endurance race number 1. We got Dan and we got Joe. Lads, how'd you do it?
Joe's perfect first stint. That's all I can say. It was beautiful.
I'm going to blush. Stop it. I'm going to blush.
You beat Huddersfield almost by virtue of them messing up a pit stop. So can you get yourselves a little bit lucky? But Joe, tell us a bit about that dreamy first stint you had.
Dreamy first stint. Well, I just stayed out of trouble on the start, really. Just staying out of the dogfights and just picking my way through when I could. I knew there were some faster people coming through, but it's an endurance race, so just bide your time. And Dan did the business when he went back out, so happy.
Dan, is that your first time taking the checker flag?
No. My first ever enduro. I won that.
Oh, okay. Apologies, my memory's not what it used to be.
I've never won an endurance.
That's his
So
first.
it's Joe, your first endurance win.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It's good. It's good to have a better partner than Piers, Packing and Walsh.
Yep.
Ditching us to go to France, by the way. I've not forgot it.
Yeah. When we need
Shame on you, Piers.
When
We need them the most. All right then, Dan. Since my last question was such a disaster, does this put Brooks B back in championship contention?
Suppose it has to, yeah.
Can you guys win it?
Why not? Yeah.
Who's in the next one? Jack and
Matt Taylor.
Jack and Matt Taylor.
Jack and Matt Taylor. That's a decent team.
Better team than us, and we won it, so.
Fancy that. Lads, thanks for talking to me. Is it this one or the next one they're right in?
This one now.
Okay, let's. Perhaps we'll find them on the grid.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much, Jacob.
Brooks B there, winners of endurance race number 1. As I said, the Huddersfield lads will probably be very, very disappointed to have had to queue up for a fuel bowser. 1.1 seconds, the difference, and they were queuing up for at least that, if not more. Very unlucky. We've even got Huddersfield down here, although I can't see the drivers who participated in that one. Perhaps we'll have a chat to Joe on the grid. But let's go see who's on pole position. Sorry, James. I believe you've turned the receiver around now, so we'll be able to get some signal. And it looks like Cambridge are shaping up for first on the grid. They are. Who have we got going out to start, guys? Sam is starting. Sam, come over and have a chat. We haven't had a chat before, Sam, have we?
No, I used to do the BUKC about 4 years ago, and I've just started a PhD in January. So.
Okay, that's when I graduated. I'd say we probably raced against each other, but you were probably way ahead of where I was.
I only ever did about 3 or 4 races, actually, even at undergrad over 4 years, so not very used to it.
Yeah, well, judging by your pace this morning, you're not too short of karting experience.
Yeah, I'm still running at an average of more than 1 penalty a race, so the aim for this is to not get a penalty. Anything else is a bonus, I think.
Good to hear. So you're starting front row here, finished front row in your race. Can we expect to see a strong showing?
Yeah, I'd hope so. I don't really know who's around us, but aim to come in at sort of 15-20 minutes in the top 3, and then from there we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you've got Oxford Brooks C behind you.
Are they any good?
They're quite good, yes. Over to your right, I can't quite tell who that is, but he's got a Super 1 sticker on his visor.
Oh, that's always a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that definitely means he's won several races in
Shiny
Super
visor, yeah, that's...
Oh, shiny visors.
That's dangerous.
You can tell by the shiny visor. And then Huddersfield's back in 6th. Joe Jakes, very strong round here this morning. He could be a bit of trouble as well.
Well, we'll see. Be fun.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Let's go see what they make of it. We'll chat to the pole sitter, find out just who he is. I got a feeling I can recognise him through the helmet, but I'm not going to make a guess. Who have we got?
Ryan Edwards.
Ryan. Face the camera, Ryan.
There he is.
Pole position.
Yeah,
What do you reckon on that?
Not bad. Well, we didn't,
I
we
say
didn't
not
earn
bad,
it.
he didn't
We
qualify.
didn't earn it, but, you know, still good. Now,
Can you keep it?
possibly, we had a 4th in a sprint race.
We had a 4th.
Well,
Did you have a 4th?
I had a 4th. I always say we, you can't, but...
True
yeah.
team player.
Yeah. Well, we're giving away 20 kilo, so 95 kilo.
Okay. So am I.
But I do know this track quite well, so we'll see what happens.
What have you done here before then?
Super 1.
Okay. I did guess by the sticker that you've done a bit of Super 1, you know.
Yes, actually. Started here, so yeah.
Fair enough. And lined up alongside you, we got, I've forgotten his name already. I was only speaking to him 2 minutes ago. Sam Massey.
Yep.
That's the one.
Sorry?
Before?
I'm not sure. I do recognise him there. So probably.
Potentially. Maybe you'll remember as soon as he gives you that first bump.
Yeah. We'll see what the loading's like now as well.
Okay, JV is calling for your attention, so I'd suggest you turn that way and listen to what he's got to say. JV, give an announcement. track limits. He's not happy with track limits. Jamie's never happy with track limits. Essentially, these white lines you can see, drivers are meant to stay within them. At least keep 2 wheels within these white lines. 10 seconds is the penalty for exceeding them. You might gain a little bit of an advantage by going outside of the white lines, but it's never, ever going to be worth 10 seconds to you. A few microphone problems for JV, but I think the drivers have got the message. Stay within the track limit. And, oh, he's got a microphone replacement. I'm going to snuggle in here, ready for the next interview. Keep listening. Stay within the track. Have you got room for me on there, do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, you can hop on if you want.
Let's shuffle over. Like, give me. Yes. Okay. Who've we got?
Dylan Roach for BUKC.
Dylan. 3rd place, number 3.
Yeah.
What number can I expect to see on the timesheet at the end?
Hopefully P1. I mean, just got to be consistent throughout the race, stay out of trouble, and get through turn 1. That's it, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Some pretty handy drivers ahead of you. Are you worried about anyone?
I mean, yeah, you always are, but you've got to focus on your own race, otherwise you'll just start making silly mistakes. So just get to the first pit stop and then we'll see. So,
you got your B team coming in behind you. Are they out in this one as well?
I think everyone is, and the D team. I mean, the D team put in a smashing drive in the last race, so fair play. I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough. Yeah.
Who's your money on out of the Brooks lines then? Yourself?
Either the A or the B team. Sorry, I can't.
Safe answer.
Safe answer. Is it alright if I just do a quick shout out to some people?
You can give a shout out to whoever you like, as long as they're not war criminals.
Alright, Rob Bastow, Alex Hewitt, Sam Johnson, Amanda Langotra. You who you all are. Alright. I'm going to try and win this for you.
How lovely.
Oh mate.
I'm not going to give a shout out to anyone because I've got no fans.
Oh, you do. Come on.
They're all here. They're all here at the track.
This interview as well.
Oh, it's no problem. There's that little wink you gave me just then. I was like, I can't ignore him now.
It was all you needed, yeah. No
all right, lovely chatting to you. Lovely sharing a seat with you.
Oh, that's all good. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think you need the booster seat, but I mean, mate, I can barely reach the pedals even with it. So
eat your vegetables. That's my secret.
Yeah. I mean, hasn't worked for me. So yeah.
I'm sure you used to leave them when you were a kid. I've seen through you.
Do you know? Okay, fair. I mean, I'm a big fruit lover, so clearly I need to convert.
No, it's the vegetables. The vegetables. Okay. No. I'm going to get up.
Okay.
Thank you.
I should probably sit down.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, let's talk to Huddersfield. Let's see what went wrong with that pit stop. See if they've rectified it. Joe, I don't want to say disaster, because second place is a very good result. But that pit stop, what happened?
It really didn't work this time.
He lost the race by 1.1.
We lost a fair few more seconds in the pits, yeah.
We were there watching, and it was, I felt for you. I really did.
Nevertheless, 33rd to, I think it's 31st to 2nd. We'll see what we can do from Yeovil.
You going to trace that?
I'm going to try. I'm not going to say anything for definite, but yeah, we'll try.
Have you learned your lesson? That's the main thing.
Yeah, so...
more of the battling that you had in your sprint race would be top stuff for the stream.
Hopefully, yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Cheers, Joe. Joe from Huddersfield, we're getting the thumbs up to get off the grid. This time, I am not going to stand in the middle. Apologies earlier for what may or may not have been a little bit of profanity. There was a cart that came literally straight for me. There was no other way of phrasing what was about to happen. I still had my legs. They're still in full working order, but it was a close shave. But now, race number 2, Endurance 2, the penultimate race of the BUKC 2018 season. Andrew and Howard, please talk us through what's just about to happen.
Thank you, Jacob. Down on the grid, getting drivers' thoughts ahead of the final race. And now we say hello to our listeners on Mixlr as well for race number 2 of round 8, the final round of the 2018 British Universities Karting Championship. For the Mains Championship at least, don't forget, we've still got 2 more days of action to give you after this. Let's take you through the grid before Mr. Mather updates you as to the championship situation, or maybe we'll talk about that as the race goes on. The driver names that you're seeing, by the way, on the graphic for those of you watching on the live stream are the drivers starting the race. Swansea A then are our pole sitters, with Cambridge A alongside. Coventry B and Brooks C make up the second row of the grid. Sheffield A and Huddersfield A make up row 3. Then it's Nottingham C and University of West of England A on row 4. Row 5 is Loughborough C and Bath A. Row 6 is Brooks A and Newcastle A. Row 7 is Leeds C and Brunel A. Row 8, Southampton B and Brooks D. Row 9 is Bristol A and Aston B. No, excuse me. Row 9 is Brighton and Bristol A. Row 10 is Aston B and UWTSD Swansea. Row 11 is Nottingham B and Southampton A. Row 12 is Birmingham B and Oxford Brooks A. Critical race for Brooks A if they want to keep their championship hopes alive. Row 13 is Exeter B and Birmingham C. Row 14 is Kingston A and Aston A. Row 15 is Brunel B and Loughborough B. Row 16 is Exeter A and Leeds Beckett A. Row 17 is Swansea C and Loughborough A. And row 18 is Liverpool A and Huddersfield B. If you didn't just hear your favourite team read out, don't worry. There are 3 races in an endurance round. Each team competes in 2 of them. So with Brooks B winning the first race of the round, it's very simple. If Brooks B win this race, they win the championship. Well, they win the round, and they then win the championship. Brooks A basically need to win this race. It's pretty simple. Huddersfield as well, the only university who can stop Brooks now. They need a good one as well. Here we go then. Eyes on the lights and the notes rise. Swansea A lead them away, but Cambridge are going to look to get a good start here, and Cambridge already to the front. Are they? No, they don't have the inside line, and Swansea A comes back at them. It's relatively clean through the first few corners, the usual bumping and barging, but no carts spun round facing the wrong way, which is good to see. But look at this. Joseph Jacks trying for the lead. He's had a fantastic start for Huddersfield. Swansea holding on to it, looking over their shoulder. They know that they're challenged there, and there's a cart off to driver's left heading into the hairpin, one of the intermediate class carts. Unusual place to spin off because it's ahead of the corner, but it's going to be our pole sitters, Swansea, who come through to finish the first lap. But Joseph Jacks is getting alongside. He's looking for an opportunity up the inside of turn 2. Joseph Jacks gets to the head of the field for Huddersfield A at the start of lap 2. Will Swansea have a response? They're getting a nose in front. They're holding on to it. Lovely move back there. I've got Ryan Edwards as the driver starting there. And disaster was that what I just saw. Oxford Brooks B with a black flag.
Oh man,
Joseph Jacks on. Joseph Jacks is round. Whilst I was looking down for what the black flag was for, Joseph Jacks, whilst fighting with Swansea for the lead of the race.
And he was encouraged into it as well. And there's your black flag for number 32.
Swansea A. Oh my goodness me.
I step outside the comms box for 1 second, and what on earth has happened?
So, oh my goodness me. Right, Huddersfield A off at hairpin 1. That's it. That's it for Huddersfield. That is championship bid over.
But right, let's have a look at this again.
Happen, but so here is Swansea getting a bit leery on the rear under braking. Too fast, hits the rear of Huddersfield, and Huddersfield is round. I'm sorry, that's a pretty open and shut one there. Just the Swansea kart you could see struggling for control under braking, under the pressure of the situation. I'm not suggesting any malice involved, but just misjudged the braking and took out the only university who could challenge Brooks. But just before it, we had Brooks B getting their own black flag.
And are now in for it as well.
And are now in for that. So that's for advantage by contact. So, if you're Brooks A, Andrew, everything that you just wanted to happen just happened.
Yes. But
Quite literally.
But I do wonder, do they know? Because right now, if you're Oxford Brooks A, you just don't take a single risk.
No.
Don't take that. Well, that half. No. That half of the inside of that back marker, back out, because
they still need to win the race, don't they?
No, because this is Oxford Brooks A's first race, so they just need to get a nice, comfortable score, and then set themselves up for a similarly comfortable score in race 2. Unless Oxford Brooks B then fly back through the field.
So this is the one thing, of course. Both Huddersfield and Brooks B have had these setbacks early. That's an important thing. So there is time to make a recovery drive back up through the field. So I think if you're Brooks A, you do still need to push for something decent in this race. Although I agree they have got the better grid position in race 3. Yellow flags out at right hand. One of my favourite named corners on the track, where the tyre barrier has just been repaired. That's the penultimate corner on the track. Into the pits then. Swansea have been in for their black flag as well, if we haven't mentioned that. We are 1 minute away from the first pit window opening up. In all of this excitement, Sam Mass is at the front of the field for Cambridge. That's who leads the race at the moment. So it's an intermediate 1, 2, 3 as it stands at the moment, because it's Coventry B in second and Bristol A in third. I'm sure they've been battling very hard. It's just that we've been having to talk about the championship permutations. Always the way at this time of year.
Talking of championship as well, Huddersfield B have made a really good start in. This is their first race of the afternoon as they try and win intermediates. They're up to 21st position already from starting stone dead last.
Change for third, by the way. Brunel passed Bristol A at the hairpin there, ruining the intermediate 1, 2, 3. But at least we noted it whilst it lasted.
Birmingham B are off, number 20. They're currently in 26th place. Down at turn 2, it's Ashley Jarvis. Yeah. Who's gone round. Pits window open. Leader goes over start finish to start a new lap. So it's Cambridge ahead of Coventry B. Brunel A third. Brunel have a good record round here. They won round 7 and 8 of the championship. The last time we were here 2 years ago. I think it's Sam Nash at the wheel at the moment. Apologies, I stepped out whilst the grid was being read out.
Your early stoppers are Liverpool A and Southampton A. Straight into the pits for them. And Liverpool has in fact already emerged, as there's a black flag for Brunel B for advantage by contact. So potentially linked maybe to what we saw with Birmingham B being spread out?
Could be. Coventry B's in and Bristol A are in as well.
Change for the lead on the road there, Andrew. Brunel A have just got past Cambridge A there, so change for the lead. Based on previous strategy, we would expect Cambridge A to run long on this stint.
Yeah.
Just based on what we're used to the team doing, they seem to prefer having track position and staying out, having, you know, a greater period of the race where you're not immediately threatened by those around you, so you can just focus on getting those fast laps in, which is the counter argument to the theoretical on paper best strategy, which is
Joseph Jacks, after being spun out by Swansea, is a man on a mission. He's already back up to 21st position. He gained 4 positions on that last lap alone. Now, yes, some of those will have been pit stops, but he is flying. And I do wonder now, do they just leave themselves out as there's a battle between Oxford Brooks C and Loughborough A? Now, I'll tell you what this does do as well. This opens the opportunity for Loughborough A to try and seize 3rd place on the podium back.
Yeah. For the championship overall.
For the championship overall.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Piers Pryor, who had a fairly quiet sprint race, is now up to 4th place. There's your leader. Brunel A. If it is Sam Nash, I hope Sam Nash's alter ego returns to us on Sunday. provided some fun and frolics at Wilton Mill in the finals last year for Drivers' Championship. Cambridge not giving this one up, and then of course you've got the 22, which is a lap down.
Yep.
And then Loughborough A third on the road, having taken that position on the last lap. So Loughborough A definitely on the move. Huddersfield have made their pit stop. Joseph Jacks has stayed in the kart, and he's got a decent bit of clear track. He's just got one back marker ahead of him, and it's not a back marker at all because it's the leader of the race.
Well, actually, no, that's important, Andrew. That's your pace card.
Yes.
Right, because he's got himself sandwiched between first and second.
Not a bad spot to be.
Yeah, if you just follow them, because people are going to think you're the leader coming through. So if you can keep up with them pace-wise, and if Sam Massey is going to stay out long on his stint for Cambridge, he's now got a pace car in front of him.
Yes.
To keep up with the leader. So those drivers can use each other if they're savvy with what's going on around them. Track limit warning happened a few minutes ago for Oxford BUKC. Not sure if Jacob mentioned this to those watching the live stream on the grid, or I imagine it somewhat interrupted the grid walk, but JV of Club 100 putting out an announcement before this one. He's getting a bit fed up with track limit warnings, so for people in breach of those, you can expect penalties to be handed out swiftly.
Yes.
And the real key points for that on the circuit is coming out of the final corner onto the main straight, put all four wheels over the white line there, and coming out of the S's after the turn 2 complex, going onto the back straight. If you go wide at those are the only 2 points really where you can go wide. This is a circuit which still has a great deal of grass runoff to slow you down if you go over the limits there.
I've just had an update, or updated myself more likely, regards championship. I'm afraid we're down to 2 officially.
Okay.
I've just checked the scores again, and the penalties that affected the very last sprint race of the day and gave Oxford BUKC another extra point, as it stands, means that the best that Huddersfield can hope for, even by winning the round as black flag for Bath A, if Huddersfield A get a win in this round, they finish on 408 points, which is currently what Oxford BUKC is sat on, and Oxford BUKC would win in a countback situation. So I apologise, Huddersfield. This is a very sad and quite, well, undignified way of saying that's it, you're out. But I'm afraid I think that is now the case for Huddersfield A, and it's all again because of penalties after post-race. But that's how close it can be. Yeah. But they could still get second. Could still get second in this championship. So
absolutely,
now,
yes.
So now we see the situation. Brooks versus A is now a straight fight to the finish.
I know what you meant.
Did I say Brooks versus A?
You did say
I
Brooks
meant B
versus
versus A of the Brooks teams. Can you tell it's been a long week? Brooks B now recovering. Jack Ransom at the wheel. I'm just going to check where they are.
Actually, mate.
Oh no, they're stone dead last. They have made their first mandatory pit stop.
Oh, they had the black flag, remember?
And they had the black flag. That's what I thought they were recovering from. But this is looking good for Oxford BUKC A now.
Actually, what you've just said there, mate, is actually confirmation of something else.
Yes.
Of course. If we're right, you know, Huddersfield A can't win. That means that Oxford BUKC University are our champions.
Pop the champagne.
Well, not if you're out in race 3, but
well,
it's a big moment.
The drought is over.
The drought is over. It's taken 9 years. Last won it in 2009. They've had season after season of being in that frustrating second place.
And so to interrupt you, Howard, we can now pass down because Loughborough A, the past champions, are in the pits.
In third place, Piers Pryor, he jumps straight back in the kart. He's double stinting. They push him off, he's straight back out in this nice new race suit. We'll find out what that's all about later on. Andrew, Howard, where's he rejoined?
It's just a question of which one of the Brooks carts it's going to be.
It is very true.
It could be A again. So in some ways, the droughts could continue, that Oxford Brooks A just keep finishing second. Anyway, Brunel A still lead the race then. Cambridge A second, Loughborough B third and Aston B fourth. Aston B, both Aston carts again, 4th and 7th at the moment on the road. Really, really good stuff. Newcastle are in. Currently an intermediate, running okay. I'm just going to see where Liverpool are. Liverpool are currently 22nd and King's College aren't in this race. Huddersfield B, meanwhile, are down in 24th. So, yes. Seems like we've had a bit of a calm down.
It's calmed down,
yeah.
and in some ways that's in a good way.
Yes.
It has to be said. Pit stops working themselves out. Loughborough B in the pits, University of West of England in, Coventry B in, as there's a penalty for Coventry B.
Just as we say, it starts to calm down.
Yeah, for bump and pass that is. Leeds Beckett A were in the pits as well. Not sure. Have we joined on the?
I think they are. They must be.
Well, I'm not sure we've had the message, but thank you, Jacob. Down in
Aston A in. I think that's Suzanne Gutsold out there at the moment. Now that's an interesting one. Have we got no? Oh, come on! Birmingham University's not talking to one another. We've been denied the one opportunity this whole season of having Suzanne and Andreas Gutsold out on the track at the same time. Because Birmingham A are in the next race. Yes. Come on. People want to see this.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, it's, well, there have been several opportunities, of course, in the sense of...
Well, Andreas has sat most of these rounds out this season.
Ah, good point, good point. Yes, and they're not even in the same weight class, so we don't get them racing against each other in the Drivers' Championship on Sunday either. Cool. Anyway, who's that spun out at turn 2? It's one of the Prems.
It's one of the Prems. And I think we've got going down to the pits. We're going down to the pits and Jacob.
And Brunel have timed it absolutely perfectly. Sam Nash rolled up just as the car in front of him drove off. I think he's double stinting though. Yes, he is. He's jumped straight back in. I was going to grab him for an interview, but he's back out on track. Sam Nash for Brunel coming in from the lead. Back out, presumably, somewhere in the top 5. Andrew Howard, back up to you.
Back out the pits. Thank you, Jacob. So this steady stage of the race where teams are just finding out what they're racing for, really. Teams yet to give us a stop. Cambridge A, Aston B, Leeds C, University of Wales, Trinity St David, Swansea, penalty for Sheffield A. But so it's your top 4 that haven't pitted yet. Brunel A have now actually come back out in 5th place. That was a good stop from Brunel A. And they've re-emerged ahead of Oxford Brooks A, who, in effect, Howard, are now second on the road.
Indeed. Absolutely, as the front 4 runners on the road at the moment owe us a stop in the form of Cambridge A, Aston B, Leeds C and University of Wales, Trinity St David, Swansea. They all owe us a stop. And indeed, apart from Swansea C, who we have also seen pulling a late pitting strategy this year, well, along with Swansea C, they're the only teams to still owe us a stop. So pretty much most of what you see on the road is pit strategy representative. So we've determined in a roundabout sort of way. We've determined...
I'm annoyed at myself that I
No,
didn't
no, no, it's
spot
okay,
that
mate, it's
change
okay.
Point. Apologies, everyone.
We've determined what university is going to take this crown. If you're only interested in writing down the university, start engraving the trophies, start putting the champagne on chill, Brooks, start organising the party. The question is,
which one?
Who's buying the drinks at said party? Because it's A versus B. It's the... Is this the correct use of the word internecine battle?
Oh, what on earth was that just came out of your mouth?
I think I'm right in saying that.
I've never heard that before. There's Lead C come into the pits for their stop. Brunel A go past them, as do Brooks A, Coventry B and Loughborough A. Loughborough A having a good one in this one. Pearce having a good drive here. He missed Hooton Park. He's just got past Coventry B as well. And this will be quite nice for them. It's just not quite fallen into place for Loughborough this year. They had a very good qualifiers, and I think at qualifiers, if I was being honest, I was making Loughborough favourites. But then in the mains championship proper, it's just not quite fallen into place. They've not really won enough races, but they've given it a good go, and they did come into this final round or final meet with a chance. But again, it's not just fallen into place with them. But we've seen this before. We were talking about this last night, mate, as we are now going to head down into the pit lane. I think we've got one of the leaders coming in. Jacob, over to you.
Do not get to the base. Do not get to the base.
We're not heading down to the pits. Cambridge tricked us. They're not pitting yet. But just to finish up on that point, Howard, I remember back to, now I'm getting my years confused again, the year Coventry were defending. It was the year when we were at Wilton Mill the first time round for these commentaries, and they finished third in the championship that year, and again just didn't quite have the pace and the speed to make it all happen. But they came back the following year, bigger, better, stronger, and of course then went on to win the title again. So if I'm Loughborough this year, I'm looking at what Coventry did 2 years ago to retake that title, and that's my inspiration for the 2019 season.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. You know, we spoke to Loughborough at the very start of this season,
yes,
on the BUKC radio podcast, and we know how much they wanted to defend this, but they've done a decent job. They've given it a very good try, and absolutely they can take heart going forward as we
are going to go down to the pits.
Absolutely.
And Cambridge are coming in from the lead.
That's right, Andrew. Sam Massey pulls up and screws the fuel lid, and Richard Morris will be taking over. It jumps out. There seems to be a bit of lead going on the left-hand side of the kart. Fuel goes in, pedals adjusted at the front as well. God, they're doing everything in this pit stop. Don't seem to be in too much of a hurry, to be honest. It's quite a nonchalant pit stop for the race leaders. And a bit of a struggle pushing off as well. I thought that one guy's going to do it by himself then. Rich Morris.
The crowd goes wild.
The crowd goes wild. It's Alistair from Exeter going crazy. And before we come back to you, Andrew and Howard, we have a special treat down in the pit lane. Warwick have brought us some cake. We're yet to see this year's creation. Last year's was phenomenal. Ben, Alistair, what have you got for us this year?
So this is box 1 of 3. I think we have about 50 cupcakes.
Okay.
And they're all decorated with 2 designs. Now the first is, should we pull them out one by one?
Yeah.
So the first is fairly generic.
We've done this one before, BUKC, pretty standard.
Oh, here we go.
So we got like 25 of these. Show the camera.
It's the original.
The original standards.
A lovely BUKC cupcake. These will probably be available in all good retailers this time next week.
However,
and the second one
is a bit more special.
They're all plastered with this glorious face that you haven't seen before, or have you?
Oh, look at that. Look at that gorgeous face. How handsome am I on a scale of 1 to 10? Probably an 8. I'm going to go for an 8. We've got a box full of Jacob Harris cupcakes. Enough for the whole family to enjoy. Surely going to taste absolutely delicious. In fact, Ben, if I hand you the microphone,
This is when it's awful.
This is it. This is really it. This is all comes down to this. What do you think?
Oh, it's taste test. It's like in Great British Bake Off.
What's the verdict? Oh, he's taking time to chew.
I am delicious.
I think that's a 10 out of 10. That's 100% confirmation. Great. We need to give some to the cameramen.
Yes,
we need to run around the paddock now.
We're going to hand back to Andrew and Howard. Andrew, Howard, hopefully you can hear us. We'll save some of my face to you.
We'll come and give you some as well.
What I want to know is where is the cake with my face on it?
And you know what? Be careful what you wish for. You may be soon eating your own head. And I've never said that.
Oh, sorry. That's an involuntary noise.
That's big. That's big in the
flag.
intermediates. Black flag for Huddersfield B for advantage by contact.
And they were in 16th place.
That's big because I'm not sure if we covered it in quite this detail, the Inters, Andrew, but Huddersfield B
lead
out of nowhere came out of round 7 leading intermediates. So that is big for them.
And the team that it's really good news for, I'm just going to check their race 1 result. Yeah, well, King's College A got a 16th in race 1, Newcastle A got a 15th. So, yes, not good news for Huddersfield B there.
I cannot just say, I'm sticking to my use of the word internecine earlier on.
Oh, okay.
Of or relating to a struggle within an organisational group. It's your word for the day.
Right. You learn something every day.
No idea where I remembered that word from, but there you go. So, the internecine battle between Brooks A and B. As we've got a battle for the lead, that's much more interesting, between Brunel and Loughborough A here. Piers Pryor with his distinctive...
beautiful.
Job done. Job done. Well done on the guys on cameras picking that up. And Piers Pryor moves to the front of the field then, ahead of, we still believe it's Sam Nash at the wheel of the Brunel kart. Clean as you like, that's how it's done. Andrew.
Oh no, sorry, Brooks B are in trouble again. And that was a takeout. Jack Ransom trying to go up the inside of a back marker. The move, I'm sorry, Jack was just not on there. Now let's look out for this. Oh, this could be big. This could be big. This was down at the horseshoe, off camera, just in front of us here in the comms box. Jack Ransom getting into another one of the Premier plates, actually.
It is. I'm going to keep an eye on who it was coming round.
There it is, black flag. That could be a clinical and a crucial at the same time moment in this season's championship. Oxford Brooks B, who have already had one black flag, are going to have to come in for another one.
It was Loughborough B. They took out Loughborough B.
And the door, well, it was ajar in round 7 for somebody to come in and try and take this championship away from them. It's wide open now, and there's only one team that can take it off them. It's their own A-team. The A-team, which has been runner-up to so many different universities over the last few years. They were runners-up to Loughborough last year. There's Piers Pryor for Loughborough racing along. They were runners-up to Coventry the year before that. The year before that, it was Huddersfield. Before that, it was Coventry again. And Howard's now going to tell me who it was even before that. It was Hertfordshire before that. And then it was Loughborough again before that. This has been the thing for Oxford Brooks. They've continuously finished second with the A-team. We know the championship is going to go to that university, but is the A-team going to finally break its duck? They are not going to get, Howard, a better opportunity than this.
Well, I mean, I know what you mean. They've come very, very close, of course, in the past anyway. They've had some very good opportunities, but this is definitely one of them. You can see the number 2 car, if you're watching the live stream, in shot, running third and closing up to the back of Brunel A. Who is at the wheel of that Brooks car? Is that Gareth Hayes?
I've not actually seen them for a while.
White helmet, black suit.
No, it's going to be Carl Morby.
It is. Yes, good chap. That's Carl Morby. Chasing the back of the Brunel car now, just putting a lap here on the 33 of Leeds Beckett A. 2 black flags Brooks B have had in this race, both of them for advantage by contact. And have to say, I've not seen a driver look quite as irate as the Loughborough B driver who got spun round looked. It's possibly for the best the cameras didn't pick it up. I'll put it that way. Okay, he wasn't very happy. So,
here
we
go. Let's bring it
the
in.
Cake delivery
Cake
has come.
time has arrived in the comms box.
Welcome to the comms box, Warwick.
What happened to you, Mr. Simpson? Hello. Well, for the benefits of the producers, the cake is now in the commentary box. So there's going to be a stampede.
And
this
on,
comms box
on
is going to feel
this
even
makes
smaller.
for poor radio. We've just seen Jacob eating a cake with his own face on it. That's up the producers. So to explain for viewers, the producers have just put cake please on our little message screen here.
It's spoiling the show of how we know when to go down to Jacob.
We are.
Let's get on. I've got to have one with Jacob's face. I'm going to go with...
I too. I need to have Jacob's face. That's amazing.
Steady.
What did I just say?
We'll cut that out. Oh wait, it's live.
Oh dear, oh dear.
No, I haven't seen
the cake compilation
yet.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, we've got to... We're
not very good at the Twitter.
When all is said and done with the action here, we're gonna have a look at that.
Thank you very much, Warwick. Well done today. Brilliant results again. Ish. He did.
Yes.
A very impressive race
Thank
indeed.
you for your continued culinary support throughout the year. You've really set the bar. Sorry?
They do kids parties,
bar mitzvahs, weddings, really anything. If you want. Yeah, media. Yeah. Well, you go for media awards. Or okay.
We don't make the decisions.
That's out of our hands.
There we go.
Right.
There was the most one-sided interview in the history of the BUKC. But thank you, Warwick, for our fantastic cakes.
I don't mind that it was one-sided.
Thankfully, nothing much happened out on track apart from Jack Ransom's now come back out in circuit right ahead of Piers Pryor for Loughborough, who is, of course, your leader. Just behind are the 7 and the 2, battling over second place. And wide. Oh, Brunel went wide there. And through goes Oxford Brooks A. Another crucial move. I'm going to eat my cake
thank you to all drivers on track for keeping it relatively uneventful whilst we were having cake delivered, and now turning the heat back on when we look back at the track. Couldn't have asked for more. So yes, change for second place. Meanwhile, we're looking at Loughborough A, who, in a bout of irony, have Brooks B behind them on track. What I imagine is quite a frustrated Jack Ransom at the wheel of that Brooks B car, now having served their black flag penalty, running 33rd out of 36 cars. We're halfway through this race. No pit stops are allowed at this moment in time. Loughborough A lead by just under 2 seconds from Oxford Brooks A. That's the number 1 and the 2 car respectively. The question will be, will the number 2 car have the number 1 earned for it for next year by the end of this round? Loughborough A in the number 1 lead, Brooks A second in the number 2, Brunel A third in the number 7, Southampton A fourth in the number 15, 1-5, Huddersfield A are 5th in the number 6, Bristol A are 6th in the number 34. And hang on a second, we should give a shout out to that. Huddersfield A, the recovery drive to 5th.
Oh, yes.
That's a recovery drive. And as there's a penalty for Exeter A for track limits, Andrew, I've got to ask, can I just go back to the... you're saying that they are now out of it, Huddersfield? Or is that good enough to put them back in?
No. They're so, with the current standings, if Huddersfield A were to win round 8, they would finish on 408 points, counting. currently counting is that same score for Oxford Brookes B. So even if Oxford Brookes B have this as a dropped score round, which, let's be honest, right now could happen, we then go to count back.
Yeah.
At the moment, Brookes B have 2 round wins, round 3, sorry, and round 5. And Huddersfield would have 1 because they would have, in this hypothetical sense, would have won round 8. So that would be there. That's decided. But they could still finish second if Oxford Brookes A similarly have a bit of a disaster either in the rest of this race or in race 3. But yeah, that's where I'm coming from on that one. So
Yep.
so close, so close, and I think this season's been a bit frustrating for Huddersfield because there's been times, especially in these endurance races, well, in both endurances and sprints, where they have looked arguably the fastest team in the field, but they've not been able to turn that into consistency in points, whether that be through bad luck or by picking up penalties. And it goes back to this thing again, this championship is not a sprint, it is more than just an endurance race, it's something very large.
Is there a Chinook above the above the comms box?
Dan the man's drone got a little bit larger.
Oh, it has, to be fair. Yes, out the back, mate.
Oh, there it is.
It's quite a sizable helicopter.
Yeah.
Even by helicopter standards.
So, yes, it's just not quite fallen into place for Huddersfield, and I think that might frustrate them. But in a way, I'd kind of hope that they can take 3rd place, so they can take something in terms of trophyware away from this season, from the end of it.
As today, a few moments ago, got a track limits penalty. So far, touch all of the wood, folks. So far, there aren't as many penalties in this race as there was in race 1. But it was in the latter half of race 1 that some of those penalties handed out, because the warnings began to build up. Remember, warnings are carried across drivers here. They're not. It's applied to the kart as a whole. So if you get into the kart and your teammate has accrued some warnings for, say, track limits, and then you breach track limits as well, it doesn't matter that it was shared between the two of you, you'll get the penalty for it. So, 25 minutes left in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the second pit window is open. It is the last appearance of pit stops in the BUKC for the year, if we ignore the rather obvious omission of the BUKC 24 hours, where there are loads of pit stops, which we running later in the year. And we'll continue to wait and see who is going to. Indeed, good point. Sorry, we got to. Yeah, Bruno A are indeed in. So early pitters of this stint. Brunel B are in as well at the same time, actually.
And as both Brunel karts are in the pits, let's head down to the pits and Jacob to see if we can get a thought of the Brunel A team.
Yes, Brunel are already back out. It's a rapid pit stop, and Mr. Sam Nash is not looking at me waving at him. He's not looking at all. Although he is now taking off his helmet, he seems to be going the wrong way for a chat. No, he has seen me. He has seen me. Bear with us. Sam Nash, leader of that race for so long, will now come and tell us just how he did it. Sam. Pretty good stint now, mate.
Yeah, not too bad. I don't know where we were in the end. Where were we?
I believe you came in from the lead.
Oh, right. Oh.
Piers Pryor pushing you quite hard as well in the pink helmet.
Yeah, I thought he took me for the lead. I was just trying to stick with him, to be honest. He's quicker than I am at the moment, but it's quite slippy out there for a dry race. It's quite slippy, but yeah, I tried to stay with him as best I could, and I think Oxford Brookes A got past as well. I just sat right behind them, went through the traffic together, used the tow. It's good teamwork, I guess.
Regardless of who got past you, I'm still proud of you, Sam. Who's just gone out?
Tom Constance.
And can he bring us home in a good result?
2 years ago we were in the same position in first. We finished second. So this time we're hoping to go one better and win.
He can right the wrongs of the past though, can't he?
He can. He's super quick.
I spoke to him earlier on the grid. He was pretty confident.
He is confident. He rated himself, what, 8 out of 10?
I think it was 11, 12 for looks.
Oh, I'm 13 then.
Of course you are. Sam, thanks for chatting to us. See you later on the pie. Andrew Howard, back to you in the studio.
He just gets on top of people. Happens in all types of sport, and this is no exception.
Quite sure what was in my ear then, but I think you're back with us in the comms box. And sorry, Howard, I cut your flow there.
It's okay, mate. So, do you know, I've completely forgotten what I was saying. What was I talking
Was that so
about?
loud that you heard it from in your headset? Never mind.
No,
So Loughborough A lead the race from Oxford Brooks A, who they've still got a very long race. Oh, penalty
that's
for
expensive.
Brunellet. Oh dear, that's not good for them
That is
at all.
for track limits.
So we were just discussing on Mixler, Oxford Brooks B's current predicament. We reckon they're going to finish round 8 outside the top 20 for the round. It's going to be a drop score for them. That's going to make Oxford Brooks' task, going to be honest, do I dare say the words quite easy?
I'm not sure you do. Just because that's come to haunt us before when we've assumed things are easy.
Meanwhile, Loughborough are in the pits. We're going to head down to Jacob as Piers Pryor looks like he's getting out the kart.
I should hope he is, because he's double stinted already. Let's not make it a triple, please, Piers. Someone else needs to have a go. In fact, James Mills needs to have a go. He's straight back out. Ollie, grab Piers for me. Piers is going to come have a chat. Just give him a second. Piers, you're flying out there. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's good. I quite like some of the circuits. Gripping up nicely. It's a bit greedy this morning with the rain, but it's going quite nicely out there. I think I had quite a good car out there, which helped out. My one in the heats wasn't so good, but that one was obviously had the legs to keep with everyone else.
We've all been admiring your new suit. What's the story there?
It's my Pro Kart suit with ABA Racing from last year. But basically the suit I normally wear is ripped, so I had to go to my backup suit. It looks right though, doesn't it?
I quite like it, mate. You look pretty sharp.
Yeah, thank you. That's all right. It's, obviously, Andrew and Ben, my teammates from Pro Kart, and own customraceway.co.uk. So they make all the suits for us. They made a suit for this year, which you'll probably see at some point, but this is last year's one. Yeah, it's quite nice. I like it.
Fantastic. Well, I hope you're looking just as sharp tonight.
Cheers, thanks. Well, we're not going to stick around too long because I'm racing at Wilton Mill this weekend, so we're going to have to go straight down there, unfortunately. Yeah, I know, it's gutting. Oh, do you know where we are?
This is the end of that interview now.
I don't know where we are in the race.
Yeah, you were winning.
We're winning, oh.
Yeah. But yeah, otherwise end an interview. Andrew Howard, after that disgrace, is back to you in the studio. Hope you can hear me. Sending you back now.
I think let's go down to the pits. Meanwhile, up on Mixler, I will make this next point when we go back to TV, because it's an important one. Oh, we're back with us.
We are back
Apologies.
on TV.
Richard Morris, I think this is his last race in the BUKC.
I think you could be right, mate.
A driver who has served Cambridge University in exemplary fashion for many, many years. And if you ask me, has kept it running. They've had a tricky, tough year. But the progress, I would say, over the course of the season, the number 9 has been the most improved team across the year. And a lot of that is down to this driver here, Richard Morris, who hands the reins over to Alistair Senior, who I believe comes back for the 2018-19 season. So I'm just going to take this opportunity, whilst we're watching him out on track, thank you, Richard. Thank you for all your racing. You have been a pleasure of a driver to watch over the last few years and commentate on.
I'd second that to the hilt. I absolutely would. And I have to say as well, if I may expand that out to everybody, this is the last round of a year, and by its very nature there is a cycling of drivers as people graduate, go off on industrial years and such like. And if this is your last round in the BUKC,
thank
little
you.
nod to you. We salute you. Thank you for supporting the championship,
And we hope we see you in Graduates Championship
Absolutely.
Teams Championship, which is, I believe the entries are open now.
Entries are open. As Leeds go
drivers.
round, I think it's Leeds C. Because
Fisher.
that looks like, who I remember from this morning, is the Leeds C driver. So, thank you to, as Liverpool's off.
Oh, now this is
Liverpool's
important.
off at turn 2.
Now, where were they running? They were in 20th place. Now, this is important because this is one of our competitors for winning the Intermediates Championship. But this is nervous times for them now. I'm just going to check.
And actually, hang on, because in race 1, didn't they also...
no, this is
they
their
weren't
first
in
race.
one.
They weren't in race 1.
Apologies. But that might balance it out because there were teams. There's a black flag for Huddersfield B.
Oh, dear.
Black flag for Huddersfield B. Another one of our key contenders.
Does it look like the pressure has got to them? I think so.
For
They were
ABC,
a bit surprised.
It's for ABC. Now, Andrew, were they close together on track? Because if I look at the pattern, Huddersfield B
Yes, they
get
were.
ABC
Yes.
black flag, Liverpool end up in tyre barriers. I'm not able to make that connection fully, as there's a black flag for Southampton A as well for overtaking under yellows.
Oh, dear.
Deary me.
This is not going well for some of our teams. Not a good end to their seasons. I can see Rob Newman's out there for Sheffield, so look out for Sheffield starting to come through the field. But this Loughborough team, and this is going back to my point earlier about Loughborough for next year. I've just had a note. The 27. Just going to remind myself who the 27 is. It is Brunel B. Drone Man Dan on the move.
Here he is.
Mind that tree, Dan.
Mind that tree. Well, who was it on the camera crew who came in at the end and said,
James.
Do we now...
We call him George.
We call him George. Watch out for that tree.
This is, of course, Drone Man Dan not piloting the drone. He's piloting a Club 100 kart. He's currently in 35th place, and his lap times are not bad. He's just at a 44.590. That's a beautiful drift.
That was lovely. No, he's doing a good job. This is
his debut.
Main's debut. Obviously, he had a sprint race in round 7. But then,
across the finish line. What's his lap time going to... Oh, he's just improved to a 43.494. At this rate, he'll be going the speed of light in about 6 laps.
That's impressive. That's...
Oh, and he's spun off!
No! Oh, no!
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to laugh. But that was brilliant.
Oh, I'm so sorry for
dear.
him.
Dan, I told you, watch out for that tree and watch out for those tyres as well. Oh, dear. It's all right. You can all laugh at me on Sunday when I do the same thing.
He has already... He'd already spun in the horseshoe. So...
Oh, I feel cool now. I'm a terrible person.
I'm sorry, Dan. It was the irony of it. That was our fast-acting commentator's curse as well.
Pow.
He'll go at the speed of light. Boo. Anyway, there's a quarter of an hour of the
it's
race
like the
left.
Force. I was looking over at him, say that line, and the rear axle of the car just goes, nope.
We're looking at a battle on track here between Alex Gunn in the number 6 Huddersfield A car and Richard Morris of Cambridge. But Cambridge owe us a stop. So
X2 have just done a stop.
They have indeed. This is for position, but with pit strategy still to play out. So Richard Morris, be interesting to see actually. If I was Cambridge, I don't know. They like doing their late stop, so I think they'll just stick to plan. It is difficult to change your pit strategy. It has to be said. You've got to communicate to that to the driver, which you can obviously hold out a pit board, but I don't think it's coming out of the final corner. A lot of teams tend to show the pit board there, which tends to work quite well. It doesn't work so well if you hold it further down the pit straight, sort of after Billy's blind, because well, you're focusing on the apex for turn 2, which means you're invariably not looking left. Yeah, difficult to change pit stop strategy, so I reckon they'll keep Morris out even if he's
Interesting moment coming up here. We've got Oxford Brooks B and Oxford Brooks A both on the same piece of road. Jamie Zyra in the A kart and I think it's Matthew Taylor in the B kart. Be interested to see what happens here, because technically they are still fighting for a championship, these two karts. We know the B team is now properly on the back foot with this second race that they've had this afternoon. But they know that the A team has still got a job to do in the final race of the afternoon, the main season. They're just, here they are, thank you guys. So there's your leader in the championship, but is that kart there, the number 2, piloted by Jamie Zyra, who has been a big part of this team the last few years. Is this the kart? Is this the year that the number 2 is finally going to become the number 1? 11.5 minutes of this one to go, and then another hour-long race. I could see Huddersfield getting excited, and they should. They're back to 3rd place.
Yeah. I have to say as well, by the way, it is Matthew Taylor in that car, by the way. And indeed, is Zyra about to execute an overtake here, because Matthew Taylor got bumped by some traffic there. But yes, indeed, Huddersfield happy. Huddersfield are having a really good round.
Yeah, I was just going to look.
Moment in time.
I was just going to look.
As Cambridge A pit, sorry, Andrew, from 4th.
They might win the round here. Come back to me.
Okay. We've got just over 10 minutes to go here. Loughborough A lead ahead of Oxford Brooks A. The gap is it's almost exactly 10 seconds, in fact. Then it's Huddersfield A. Actually, that's sort of fitting. The 3 key universities we're talking about. Loughborough A first, Oxford Brooks A second, Huddersfield A third. Underlining why these 3 universities are the key players, or have been throughout the year, along with the likes of Nottingham. Southampton as well was in the championship hunt during the early parts of the season. So Loughborough A lead, Brooks A second, Huddersfield A third, 4th is Brunel A, 5th is Bristol A, Coventry B are 6th, and they're on merit. They've done both of their stops. Aston B runs 7th, but was a stop. Southampton A 8th, 9th is Brooks C, and Kingston A round out the top 10. As there's yellows out at the hairpin. Yellow has now been ported, so whatever was there has finished.
No, they can't win the round, because of course if Loughborough win this race, they could win the next one and take the round victory. But no, Huddersfield on for the moment 117 points. So.
Sorry Andrew, this is really interesting. We've actually got Brooks A, B and C together on track. So Matthew Taylor has just got past the C kart in Brooks B, and in fact actually I think the Brooks C kart has just let them both through, which is probably the sensible thing to do, even though the Brooks C kart is ahead of Brooks B, of course. On pace though, I think Matthew Taylor may have the edge.
Yeah, so actually there's quite a few teams that with the positions as they are could beat Huddersfield. Loughborough could beat them, Brooks A could beat them, Coventry A could beat them, and Warwick could beat them as well. So it's good. We've got stuff to play for in the final race of the round. Weather watch. It is clouding over, but I don't think there's any rain forecast. I will just have a look at the weather radar.
It has been threatening for the last hour or so, I would say. Either way, we're inside of the last 10 minutes here of race 2 of round number. You're saying no rain?
Forget what I've just said.
Oh, gosh, no, hang on.
Big system coming in.
Whoa.
That is going to hit in the next hour. We're going to have a wet last race, everybody.
Well, it wouldn't be.
Let's just spice it up a little bit more.
I was going to say, it would be fun then if it
In fact, we're due rain any minute now.
Okay, that's changed. Incident! Cambridge round! Incident at the
Sheffield off as well.
Sheffield. Oh, goodness me!
And there's more off down. It's raining.
43,
It's raining out there. It's got to be. This number of carts off.
The 61's off as well. That's Swansea C. The 12 of Sheffield is off. The 9 of Cambridge is off. Can't see who it is who's off down. I think it is that the 27. Is that Drone Mandan? I don't want to say it, but I think it's
it
true.
Is. Yeah, it is.
Are we gonna
Black flag for the 31. I don't think it is raining. I think it's just that
was it?
and rain.
I was going to say, mate,
oh dear.
Your weather forecasts have a very short-term range on them. If you go, due any moment, ooh,
everybody's off.
It's raining. I'm suspicious of whether your forecast amounts to merely sticking your hand out the window, if that's the case. Yes, rain is due.
And the pressure cooker's gone up again, hasn't it? Because that is just going to be that's not what Oxford Brooks A want right now.
No.
That is not what Brooks A want right now. They want a nice clean finish to the end of this race. Coventry B are in for their black flag. Right, okay. This just changed things. So this is all coming from the southwest. But it is a fairly hefty storm front coming in. I'm just going to tweet it at Double Dash Motorsport Media for you all to see. This is going to get interesting. But in a way, could play into Brooks' hands in race 3.
Oh, absolutely.
Wet races tend to be a bit more open.
Yeah.
More mistakes.
And Brooks tend to have that experienced driver lineup that does well in wet conditions. I agree, mate. We haven't seen anyone else go off, and there's no spots of rain on the comms box windows. As there's a penalty for Newcastle A and Liverpool A. Both track limits. So it's very difficult to say who's on top in this battle for the intermediate title, isn't it? Because they're all having suboptimal races at the moment. But yes, penalties for Newcastle A and Liverpool A. There's a black flag as well for Coventry B for ABC. That's happened in the last few moments as well.
Five minutes to go in this one then. There's James Mills leading the race for Loughborough A. 7.2 seconds clear of the number 2 of Jamie Zyra and Oxford Brooks A, who are 65 minutes away from breaking a streak that has gone all the way back to 2010.
Penalty, Andrew, for Brunel A.
Oh,
Brooks B
contact warnings for Kingston A and Brooks C. You just saw Loughborough and Liverpool going through the shot. I think that might have been, no, it wasn't the position, but Loughborough C are having a good race. Loughborough B are having a good race here in 16th place. Still your 1, 2, 3 is Loughborough, Brooks, Huddersfield. Penalty for the number 29 of Brighton. They are currently 21st on the road. Who's close out there on track, Howard? The 50 and the 3. Brooks D and Brooks C very close together.
Not just that, mate. The 36 of Kingston is only just ahead of them.
Oh, yes, it is as well.
So,
in fact, here they are.
Yeah, well done, camera team, producers and directors. So it's the 36 of Kingston A, less than a second here ahead of the 50 of Brooks D and the 3 of Brooks C. That's pretty close. Loughborough C and Swansea A are having a good battle as well for 11th. Aston A and Southampton B are contested 17th at the moment. Leeds C and Brighton, they're battling over 21st. Cambridge A and Liverpool A, who have both had eventful races, are also quite close together at this precise moment in time. So, as ever, there's a contact warning for Cambridge.
TLW for Oxford Brooks B. That's not really going to affect things. They are currently down in 27th place. We've already said we reckon this round 8, will be a dropped round for them. Here's continuing that battle. Kingston fighting off as Liverpool around again. Oh, don't let me get the Liverpool spin counter out again. I've kept it in the box all year round. But there's the 36. Now, can Kingston hold off two charging Brooks carts here? It would be a great end to Kingston's season if they could. They've had a fairly quiet one. I'm just going to see where they were in points coming into this. They were in the top 30, so this would be good for them if they can try and get this result and hold themselves in the top 30 for next year, which of course would be improvement. Kart 36 finished 36th last year in the championship. Fastest lap has just gone in by Loughborough. No, sorry, it hasn't. It's the graphic tricking me there. But Loughborough 9.1 seconds in the lead. But here's the biggest battle on track at the moment. This is over 7th place, Kingston A and Oxford Brooks D, with Oxford Brooks C not that far behind, and Newcastle not that far behind as well. Now this could be important because we said in the first race that Newcastle weren't able to use James de Havilland to the expected level. They finished, I think, around 15th in that race, but here they are, they're in the top 10. This could be a huge move by Newcastle for the intermediates. Meanwhile, back with this battle over 7th place. And through go Oxford Brooks D. D are through, they're passed in the hairpin and past Kingston. We're on to the last lap then. Here is James Mills going round the first couple of corners through the S's. He's got Ed Bars ahead of him. This has been a fantastic drive from James Mills and Piers Pryor. And could set them up here because they've got a good grid position in race 3. Could set Loughborough up for a round victory if they can convert the 3rd place they have in race 3 into a good result. But here comes James Mills, round the final corner, round the crown, down towards start finish. Loughborough are going to be happy with this. The number 1 is on top in this race. They win race 2 here at Clay Pigeon this afternoon for round 8 of the BUKC 2018. And we wait for the number 2, and Jamie Zyra gets a crucial 59 points for Oxford Brooks A. A superb recovery drive from Huddersfield. They finished 3rd. Brunel A are going to finish 4th, but have penalties. Bristol A are going to finish 5th. That's a fantastic result, and that's a happy man there. Is that the team that is going to take the title this year? That is a big step towards winning it, because their teammates in the B team are going to be classified 26th. Okay then, final race of the day coming up. Oxford Brooks A just need to get round in decent nick, not have any problems, and they're going to win at long last the title. It would be their 5th title. There's already a 5th title going towards Oxford Brooks University, but is it going to be the A team? Is it going to be the B team? Who knows? Drivers coming back to start finish. Karts will be fueled up and prepared for the last race of the day. It's not quite raining yet, but these clouds are looking quite ominous. Loughborough A win the race by 8.868 seconds ahead of Oxford Brooks A. That is the most crucial 2nd place they've had in years. 3rd place for Huddersfield A, having had a spin early on. Oh, I don't know. I reckon if they'd not had that spin, they might have won that race. And yeah, they'll be a little bit annoyed about that. 4th place for Brunel A. But they had penalties. But still, look how many drivers and teams didn't even keep on the lead lap. Bristol A take one of their best race finishes of the entire year in 5th. Southampton A takes 6th. That could be important for them. They're still in a battle with Birmingham to get, I think it's 7th place in the championship overall. Oxford Brooks D get a good result. They've continued and gone from strength to strength. Bodes well for future years of Oxford Brooks in the BUKC. They finished 7th. Kingston A, really good points for Kingston A in 8th. Oxford Brooks C in 9th. Excuse me. Newcastle A in 10th. And we'll do the maths, but there was a lot. Well, there was Huddersfield B in trouble in that race. There was Liverpool in trouble in that race. That could be the race that we come back to as the rain has started. I can see it on the commentary box window. that could be the race that seals the Intermediate Championship for Newcastle. We'll wait and see. Swansea A finished 11th, Loughborough C finished 12th, Aston B finished 13th, Exeter B finished 14th. Howard's back with me in the comms box. Not the most dramatic race, but in terms of importance, that was big.
Absolutely, Andrew. You stole my little tidbit of information, though. It's raining. That was that. But yeah, not necessarily the most dramatic, but as you say, nonetheless important.
Right, Jacob's ready for us down on the grid. It's the final race of the year. Jacob, your final mains grid walk of the year. Have a good one, mate.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I'm sure I'll enjoy myself just as much as I've enjoyed myself on every other grid walk. Winners of race number 2, Loughborough A are by there. Well, one of them is. Piers is by there. He's sorting out Tom Thickpenny on the grid. Tom and Ori out in this next one for our reigning champions, I believe. Possibly their last race as reigning champions. I don't think this season has gone quite to plan for them. But a strong win in that race nonetheless. Piers will come and join me momentarily. And I don't know if James Mills is knocking around or if it'll just be Piers talking to us. He'll come by now as soon as he's put those pins in the number plate. No, he's checking other things on the car. Send him over. Not Tom. Send Piers over. He won the race, remember? You won the race, Piers, remember? Yes. Where's James?
James is elsewhere. Don't really know where. I think he's gone upstairs to put the lead away and whatever. If I see him, I'll wave him down. But
okay. Well, in that case, you can tell me then. Race win.
Yes.
Proud of yourself?
Yeah, we're pretty proud of that. I mean, James and I have had a pretty good record in the endurance this year. I think we've won the second or third. Yeah, second win. So we've done well. James and I do well together. Kart was quick, which obviously as I said in the end of my stint was good. That helps. Let's hope that James and Ollie can replicate that as well, and then we'll see where we go from there in the championship, and hopefully we'll get a good result in the endurance round.
Do you have every faith in Ollie and Tom?
I have every faith in Ollie and Tom.
Fantastic. I won't talk to Tom now. I know he doesn't like it.
He doesn't like you. He doesn't mind talking to interviewers. It's just you.
I think he likes me. We had a good interview. And he said I'm his favourite interviewer that he's ever met.
And none of the James.
We've got James. James, come at Piers. Stand to one side, please. James, Piers says it's all him.
Yeah, of course it was. It was. It's always Piers. I agree.
You brought it over the line, though. Is it getting slippy out there and it's starting to spit?
No, to be honest, I think it was all right for me. It's obviously just started raining now, but it didn't affect our race now.
Any words of advice for Tom, then?
Get top 5 and we should be on the podium.
Job done. Let's come and chatting to us. Let's go see who we've got lining up for our last race of the year. On to my left, we've got Exeter A, I believe. The Exeter team. Who have we got in the car? Jack Poe. Quick briefing. Jack Poe, where are we? 6th?
Yeah.
What can we do from here?
Hopefully top 3 positions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I see you're nominated for an award tonight. Do you happen to know which one it is?
No, which one?
Wow. You have to turn up and find out, mate.
Alright. We'll stay here.
Any inklings which one you might be up for?
I actually have no idea.
Bet you can't wait for the surprise. So I won't ruin it for you. You have a good race and have a quick chat to Alistair. Alistair, step this side of the car, please. Well, I'll step that side then. We're going to have an interview. So you're team captain of Exeter.
Yep.
Easy job arranging these lads?
Yeah, it was very easy, apart from the fact that we've had some very bad luck.
Yeah. How'd you get them all together for an event?
You just put them in a car and then drive them here, and then
you got a WhatsApp group to arrange things?
No, we don't on Facebook actually.
Oh, right. What kind of stuff do you talk about in this Facebook group?
I've
seen Exeter social media groups.
Yeah, no, it's normally just karting. It's only a select few that seem to deviate to these weird, sort of bit un-PC topic.
Select few in your...
No, select few. Yeah, I heard law. It's law students.
Law students? And you don't study law yourself?
No, I'm mechanical engineering.
Any law students in your team?
No.
So you can categorically deny any allegations that might come your way?
Yeah, we're not racist.
A firm stance there. The University of Exeter is not racist. Thank you, Alistair. for clearing that one up. Let's go down to the front of the grid. See who we've got lining up on the front row. Liverpool on my left. Josh, we've spoken to Josh once already today. But we have a controversial issue to talk about. Josh.
My brother.
Your brother.
Yes.
Your brother has absconded, shall we say, from the BUKC 2018 whilst owing a member of the Club 100 staff a drink or two. What have you got to say for yourself and or your brother?
I heard he did it deliberately. The only reason he's not here, nothing to do with the fact that he's at work or anything. It's purely so he doesn't have to buy your man a drink.
This is a shocking revelation.
It's outrageous.
Has this soured your family name?
I'm actually very disappointed in him, and we'll be having words afterwards. Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Can you, in your eyes, can he ever be redeemed?
It takes something pretty big. I think he'd have to pay for my karting next year maybe, and that would sort him out.
Okay, good to know. Back to you then. Front row of the grid for this one. How'd you get on earlier?
We did all right. I started first, made a couple of howling mistakes with the hairpin, dropped back to third and pulled it back to second. I don't like it dry because I'm too fat, so I'm really, really happy that it's raining right now.
I was going to say, those spots of rain appearing on your visor must be delighting you.
Yeah, I mean, I've never driven around here in the wet, but how hard can it be?
Well, I did it once. Do you want some tips?
Yeah.
Okay, so turn one's right-handed.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. That's going to be really useful.
Then a chicane.
Chicane. So that's
the key to the
right and then left.
Yeah, the key to the chicane is making both turns. If you don't make the second one, you're going to be in trouble.
Oh yeah, I think JV would probably shout at me if I didn't go through the chicane. He seems he doesn't want anybody to ride on his sausage either, apparently.
Definitely don't want to ride on the sausage. That was going to be my next top tip, to be honest with you.
Straight black flag for a sausage ride.
Straight black flag as it should be.
Damn it.
Well, you don't want to bring any more disgrace to your family name, do you?
No, definitely not. I think I'll just let everybody pass at the first corner and just chill out.
It's good to hear. Josh, you have a good race, mate.
Thanks very much.
Josh Collin, Liverpool, lining up. Second place alongside Huddersfield, I believe. We got Aaron Walsh on. Hello. I nearly just sat on my radio.
Don't do that.
I won't. Tell us what you can do from pole position.
Well, it's wet and cold, so we're living the dream.
Yeah.
Do
you prefer it in the wet or the dry?
I'm not fussed either way, but I prefer staying dry.
Okay, you haven't got a wetsuit on.
I'm a diva.
Might I suggest, investing in a wetsuit if you are such a diva, and you turn up to you can. Yeah.
Ready in comms.
Thank you. Down on the grid, Jacob. And hello to our Mixler listeners as well. It's the final Mains Championship race of the year, so here is your final randomly generated Mains Championship grid. On pole is Huddersfield B. We just heard from him on the grid, Aaron Walsh at the wheel of that one, with Liverpool A alongside Josh Gollin at the wheel of that. Loughborough A start third with Swansea C alongside on the second row of the grid. Row 3 is Leeds Beckett A and Exeter A. Row 4 is Loughborough B and Brunel B alongside them. Rounding out the top 10, Aston A and Kingston A. Row 6 is Birmingham C with Exeter B alongside. Row 7 is Oxford Brooks A with Birmingham B alongside. Row 8 will be Southampton A and Nottingham B. Row 9 will be UWTSD Swansea and Aston B. Row 10 will be Northumbria A and Warwick B to round out the top 20. Row 11 will be Birmingham A and Nottingham Trent A. Row 12 will be Swansea B and Northumbria B. Row 13 will be Cranfield A and Warwick A. Row 14 will be Bath B and Newcastle B. Rounding out the top 30 is Coventry A and King's College A. Manchester Metropolitan A start 31st and they have Imperial A alongside them on the 16th row of the grid. Row 17 will be Oxford A and Leeds A, and row 18, rounding out the 36 kart grid, will be Nottingham A and Leeds B. Apologies for getting ahead of the graphics, but wanted to make sure we got the full grid in before this race began. They do go into the Enduros extremely quickly. And Andrew, it's raining.
Yes.
And we still haven't actually got a championship winner.
Not yet, but it is going to be decided in this one. Here we go. Oh, what now? That was a jump start, clear jump start from Huddersfield B. That was a mess. That's going to be a massive penalty. They were way past the pusher cart. What was Aaron Walsh thinking there?
And you know, the pusher...
And restarts.
Yeah, the pusher cart actually just sort of put his hands in the air to race control there, as if, what happened there? So that will be a restart.
Nerves, pressure.
Nerves and pressure. Let's not forget, Huddersfield B and Liverpool A on the front row here. These are two of the intermediate teams who are in the fight for the intermediate class crown, which does mean a lot to the teams who are in it. We could have a debate till the cows come home about how meaningful the intermediate crown is.
Whilst we're doing that, can I just do round permutations?
Please do, mate.
Huddersfield A currently lead the round on 117 points. Teams that could beat them: Oxford Brooks A could beat them, Loughborough A could beat them, Coventry A could beat them, and Warwick A could beat them. Teams that could win in Inters: current leader is Swansea A. Teams that could beat them: Kingston, Manchester Metropolitan, Nottingham B, and KCL.
Right,
let's go.
Let's go again then. That looked slightly better. Aaron Walsh leads them away. Eyes to the lights. And the engine notes have already risen as they're into turn 2. And it's slippery, bearing in mind. And oh, dearie me. Yeah, it's it's slippery. It's raining. And there's at least 8 carts off there. Another one off at the S's.
Yeah, it's Freddie Fincham for Loughborough B.
Is this going to be called a full start? There are a lot of carts to be recovered. But I'm not seeing any full start yet. I think it's called good, mate.
Now, the key thing is, where are Oxford Brooks A? Oh, oh, my goodness me. Matthew Lewis nearly spun round there. But Oxford Brooks A are in the top 10. They just need to stay there, I reckon.
This is going to be one heck of a list I've got to read at the end of this lap for who's been involved in first. I saw 2 Birmingham drivers just staring at each other as we're both off at the same corner. Right, Huddersfield B crossed the line in first with Loughborough A alongside. Who's involved in first lap incidents? Here is your roll call. Loughborough B, Exeter A, Aston A, Birmingham C, Exeter B, UWTSD Swansea, Birmingham B, Birmingham A, Swansea B, Aston B, Bath B, Manchester Metropolitan A, and King's College A, all involved. That is, by my count, 12 carts involved in a first lap spin in these tricky, slippery, it's raining kind of conditions.
Some teams, though, have had amazing starts. Oxford Brooks A up from 13th to 6th. Northumbria up from about 19th place to 8th. Nottingham Trent have moved up 16 positions on the first lap. Nottingham A up 19 positions on the first lap. Basically, if you were on the odd side of the grid, you were in a really good position there, because it was a lot of the drivers on the even side of the grid, the anti-pole, as you would call it, Howard, that ran wide.
Absolutely. Yes, right. Well, that's an interesting race already. I can't keep up with that on the spreadsheet because 12 carts went off at runs. Josh Gollin has just got past Tom Thickpenny for second place. And look at that Tosi Miso in the 33 Leeds Beckett A car, trying to go around the outside of Thickpenny. It didn't work there, but Liverpool up to second and now chasing Huddersfield B. And already, of course, the knock-on effect of that first lap carnage is that the leaders are already coming up upon traffic. Aaron Walsh trying to put a lap, I believe, on Exeter B as they go around turn 2. So traffic coming into play right away here. And Josh Gollin will look to capitalise on this if he can. Totik Miso, though, under attack from Tom Thickpenny in the Loughborough cart. In fact, the top 4 are nose to tail pretty much working their way through the traffic. You can see Walsh in the 21 Huddersfield B, Gollin in the 24, and Totik Miso goes up the inside of him at Horseshoe. Leeds Beckett A up to second place there. Opportunistic move, and drivers taking it cautiously out there because...
Black flag for Warwick B.
Indeed, that's for track limits. Ah, yes, we should talk about that, shouldn't we?
Yes.
So,
hit the sausage out of the S's. It's a straight black flag because there's been too much abuse of the sausage today. I've got a weird effect with the windows in the comms box.
Yes.
If we look out directly ahead, it's completely clear. If I look down to turn 2, I can't see anything. So the conditions definitely closing in. There's a yellow flag down there at turn 2. Someone has gone for a spin.
Birmingham B
are off
again
at the exit of the S's.
Yep.
Do you know what else I'm worried about, Howard? I'm seeing a lot of drivers that have gone out there as Freddie Fincham. Oh, it's not a good end to the season for Freddie Fincham. He's off again in the Loughborough B kart. A lot of drivers out there who are not wearing wetsuits, mate.
Yeah, that's a worrying thing, isn't it? I mean, at least they do get to do driver changes, but the damage can get done awfully quickly when the rain comes down.
And the rain is closing in, and it's going to get worse.
Have we mentioned that Leeds Beckett A has come to the front of the field
No,
now
we have
ahead?
not.
And so has Northumbria A. They've got past Huddersfield B as well. So, good drive from those two teams currently in the lead. Leeds Beckett A, here they are, the 33 ahead of the 35 Northumbria A. Then's the 21 of Huddersfield B and the 24 of Liverpool A. And then is the number 1 of Loughborough A.
Kingston A up in 9th place at the moment. This is really good stuff from them. If the race was to finish right now, they would win intermediate today.
So, difficult conditions and an unusual situation now. You know, getting on for half of the field ended up off the road, and that means we're going to have traffic and karts on various laps, but who aren't down on pace. So it's already a very complex situation in this, the final race of the year.
Just to say as well, movers and shakers on that first few laps. Nottingham A up from 35th on the grid, they're already up to 11th.
That's got to be a decent record attempt there.
That's not bad. Here are two teams fighting in intermediates. Huddersfield B, Aaron Walsh, and Liverpool A, Josh Gollin, as I think it's Josh Watts at the wheel at the moment for the Nottingham number 4. He's absolutely flying. The trouble for these two drivers, though, is Josh Gollin doesn't want to go in the pits on that one, but Aaron Walsh does. So Huddersfield B into the pits. The trouble is both of these karts have already had one bad endurance race. They're not going to be on the podium, I reckon, today for intermediate, but can they get enough points to overhaul their rivals? Can they get enough points to overhaul Newcastle for a start? It's looking difficult at the moment, if you ask me. So Newcastle, who led into going into the starter proceedings today, as it stands, I reckon are taking that back.
Still not entirely convinced that the rain is coming down in earnest here. It's still sort of threatening spitting rather than out and out rain. But history suggests that doesn't really remain as such here at Clay Pigeon, as there's a cone penalty for Newcastle B. Do you know what? I think that's the first cone penalty we've seen for quite a while, actually.
Leave Colin alone.
There has been a reduced amount of
Southampton
Colin cone abuse. But there has been more riding of the sausage in a little homage to Llandau, where we sometimes visit in the BUKC, where there's the famous Russ's sausage curb. And it's often described as riding the sausage. There you go. Black flag for Imperial A for track limits, which is probably for riding said sausage curb. We're talking about the curb on the exit of the S's, by the way, the chicane after turn 2. So if karts are going too far off there. We've already seen some incidents there today, not least, of course, in Sprint Race 5 this morning in round 7, which involved 3 karts, involved Kingston, Birmingham B, and of course Southampton. And Zach Nixon fundamentally okay out of that one, caused a red flag, that incident. He's gone to hospital with suspected ankle injury of some kind, but importantly, he is fundamentally okay. Penalty for Exeter A for bump and pass, so that'll be 10 seconds added to the end of their race time, as we're beginning to see the spots of rain forming on these cameras. This is when you'd probably choose for it to rain if you were ever going to have it rain. You want it at the end of the day when you've got used to you're bedded in.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably don't want it
I'd
to
prefer it to not rain at all.
I'm with you there. I am with you there, 100%. There's the number 2, Matthew Lewis at the wheel of the Oxford Brooks A car. There's a black flag for Manchester Metropolitan for track limits.
Yeah, I think I saw them run wide. They actually ran beyond the sausage curb, but into the kind of muddy hole, which won't do the underside of the kart any good. No, so championship-wise, we won't know officially really until we get to halfway, once all the pit stops have shaken themselves out. But as long as you see Oxford Brooks A up in that top 10, I think they're good. They're more than good enough for being able to overhaul their teammates in the B team. And we should talk about this, that how much guts and determination from the Oxford Brooks A team this has taken. Because let's go back to the end of round 5, when Brooks B were in a really strong position. Round 6, Oxford Brooks A won, and it did feel at the time it's like that was it was more than just 60 points for the championship for Oxford Brooks A 2 weeks ago at Hooton Park, and here they are. They just seem to have carried on that form that they had at Hooton Park. They had this massive wobble in the middle of the season, and I know there's a lot of racing to go with 50 minutes of this race yet to run, but got to tip your hat to Oxford Brooks A and how they've stuck together as a squad and pulled through.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more there. And we know that Brooks are experienced, but and we know that we're used to seeing Brooks at the front, but it shouldn't take away from just how impressive a display they always put on. You know, they're still consistently the only university who can bring about 1, 2, 3s, and we say almost. Well, we had one this morning, if not, albeit not on the road, because Manchester Metropolitan finished second on the road, but had penalties. But there was a Brooks 1, 2, 3 in race 6 of round 7 this morning.
Yeah,
we sort of say it in a blasé way. We take it for granted. That's a massive, massive achievement to be able to just pull that kind of result out the bag, and their D teams, not too shabby either. You know, it's really impressive what Brooks are able to do as a university, and absolutely, Brooks A have pulled this one back, and now they're looking set to take the title for the first time in 9 years. With their A team, it looks at the moment.
Yes.
We stress.
As mentioned before, Oxford Brooks University, something is going to be champion, and it is going to be a 5th BUKC title going the way of Oxford Brooks. As we keep saying, it is a matter of which one. At the moment, it's looking like the A team. As what's that hand signal from Rihanna?
I don't know. She's working her way back up the field, of course, after being involved in the spins on the first lap. As there's a contact warning for our leader, just to give an indication of how the weather has affected lap times at the moment. Fastest lap of 43.6. That's down around about 3 seconds on what we would expect from the fastest lap of the race. So, yes, we just caught the end there on camera shot of a spin at the hairpin. Can't see who it is, but I shall keep tabs on it.
Leader. Oxford Brooks A are in the lead. It's been a long
You're
week.
right, mate.
Oxford Brooks A are in the pits. That's what I'm meaning to say. So, seems like a good time to make a pit stop. Who span off, mate?
It was the 38, which makes it Swansea B. At least you didn't say Leeds are in the brook. That's
in the brook. That would be very unfortunate. And it's
very
not something I
impressive.
would put past Leeds.
We're at the top of a hill here. It's difficult to find a brook. Is that an L plate on the back of Toti Miso's helmet?
Quite possibly. Another black flag. I think these are all for sausage abuse.
Yes. Yes, Coventry A and Oxford A. I have never had to write this in my spreadsheet before. BL, but BF even. flag. Black flag sausage. That's a new entry for the... you know what, in a few months' time I'll come to look at this and go, what on earth?
Leader passes us on start-finish to start a new lap. We're looking at Leeds Beckett at the moment. Toti Miso at the wheel. Looking forward to seeing him race on Sunday. It is an L plate on the back of his helmet. Goodness me. He's been in Super Finals before, 2 years ago, has a little wipe of the visor. And it is still raining. It is still raining out there.
Yeah, I think it is now.
It seems to be coming from turn 2, really, and coming across the circuit. So he's driving into it now. But yeah, currently running in 7th place is Nottingham A pit. They had a very good early part of this race, up to 4th.
Northumbria A are leading this race by 13 seconds, Andrew.
Yes.
I think that's worth just giving a mention. That's
Stenholm Smith at the wheel at the moment.
Yeah.
Who has really impressed me this year.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree with that. Can I also give a shout out to the Warwick bunny ears that are out on show at the moment? It's a tradition amongst the Warwick lot that they don't all sport the bunny ears. I don't know if it means something. But every once in a while there's a Warwick driver with rabbit ears on their helmet.
I think we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, probably should
I
leave it at
suspect
that.
what the reason is, but I don't think it's broadcastable.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I can.
Number 10, Birmingham A, as... Oh, someone's had a good off there. They seem to have found the Andrew Mather Drivers' Championship 2014 patch of land. It's quite nice down there.
You sort of did a Kimi Raikkonen at Brazil and tried to get your way back onto the track by just driving around Sao Paulo, or whatever it was Mr. Raikkonen managed to do on that particular day. There are the bunny ears. There you go. That's what we're talking about.
And Warwick A, the second half of this season, have been very impressive. Very impressive indeed.
It was X to B, by the way, that had the off there at the hairpin.
And I'm just going to read through Warwick's results. Did like a 4th. 4th at qualifiers, 11th and 7th at Buckmore, 12th and 4th at, oh dear, the 63 is a good
that's
one.
an unusual place to be off, and the 79 Manchester Met. Yeah, conditions are worsening, aren't they?
And the 59 is off as well.
That's Leeds B.
Oh dear. It seems like we're having a bit of a Nürburgring 2007 scenario down at the bottom of the circuit. But that was Manchester Metropolitan, who I think had a chance of winning intermediates. I think that's, well, I'd say that's gone now, but it's these conditions. It is just going to be about keeping it on track. Someone is off down at turn 1 through Billy's blind.
That's still the 63, I think.
That's the 63.
I mentioned this at the last round. Potentially, those who haven't pitted yet gain a little bit of time in the pits because the pace of the field has just plummeted by about 10 seconds a lap.
And let's go through those teams that haven't yet pitted. Northumbria A, Loughborough A, Nottingham Trent A, Exeter A, Swansea Met, Warwick A. They've all not pitted. So your first runner on the road who has pitted is the Leeds Beckett cart in 7th place.
Yep.
Aston A haven't pitted, and Cranfield A haven't pitted.
Or Bath B or Birmingham A. So we've got some lower down, of course, who were involved in first lap instance. Aston B haven't pitted. Swansea B haven't pitted. Exeter B haven't pitted. If ever you wanted the argument of why wouldn't you go for that on paper optimal strategy of pitting early, this is why.
Yeah.
You have trap position if something like this happens. And the effect of the rain here is basically like having a safety car. It's like pitting under safety car in endurance racing in sports cars, or pitting under safety car in Formula 1. Has the same effect. So be interesting to see how these teams, the teams we've just mentioned, whether they gain anything by that. One of which we are looking on screen in the form of the Warwick A card. Who's that off? Oh no, that's 2 pusher cart drivers putting back together the barriers at the hairpin.
That'll be a futile task.
It's important to cushion the next
Yes.
It is important.
But they're going to be down there again.
They will be down there again. As there's a penalty for Liverpool A for bump and pass. So, I'll be honest with you, mate. You've got tabs on the championship a lot better than I have. I'm struggling with the intermediate class. It seems there's been lots of little dramas that have occurred. Penalties.
Yeah.
And
but the thing is, Newcastle have had 2 decent scores. So they've got a 15th and a 12th already in the bank.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've still got to overhaul. What's the points gap that they've got to overhaul? Okay, they've still got to overhaul a 7-point gap between themselves and Huddersfield B.
Mm-hmm.
It still could be quite close. But they're looking all right at the moment.
So, Northumbria A lead this race by 17.3 seconds from Loughborough A, neither of whom have pitted, by the way. So that is a genuine 17 seconds that they pulled out. Nottingham Trent are 3rd, X-Ray are 4th, UWTST Swansea are 5th. Warwick have just come into the pits. So Leeds Beckett A now move up to 6th. Leeds Beckett A is the highest running team who have done their stop.
Yep.
So on balance, we would expect, unless any of these teams ahead of them do their stop and come out ahead of them, Leeds Beckett A should be looking good. I think some of them will, I agree. As someone's well off in the hairpin as well. You're right, Andrew, it was a futile task. So, yeah, just for reference, lap times at the moment are around about the 53-54 second mark, where once, as you'll recall me saying, the fastest lap was a 43.6. So it is about 10 seconds a lap. So, as I say, pits at this point, and you are effectively saving time against the rest of the field. As who is that who's getting recovered?
It's the 66?
68? It's the 66.
It's Newcastle B. Nottingham Trent A into the pit stops. You will notice we're not going down to the pits. Jacob's already having to shout over the carts. I think making him stand out in shouting and getting rained on a little bit too harsh.
Yeah, I think the remote camera might have something to say about the rain as well. So there's your leader, Northumbria A. Did we say who was in the at the wheel of this one?
Denholm Smith, isn't it?
Denholm Smith. As you said, Andrew, what a season he's had. Very impressive stuff. 18 seconds up the road from our outgoing champions of Loughborough A. And tell you what's helping him at the moment is that he's made his way through a gaggle of cars. He's not coming in, he's just taking the wet line. Well, that's the confusing thing now, isn't it? People take the wet line around the last corner, it looks like they're going into the pits. They're just taking a wide line where the grip is. Difficult track this, I find, in the wet, Andrew Clay Pigeon. It's such a fast-flowing circuit in the dry that suddenly corners like Billy's Blind,
which just were flat.
Yeah, were flat. Just a flat, adrenaline-fueled left-hander. Through you go, and suddenly, you know, the worse the conditions get, the more you go, oh, what do I do? Is it a lift? Is it a brake? Because we've got a cart off at the penultimate corner, called right hand, according to my circuit now. But yeah, it can be difficult. And again, through the S's, you start to lose grip there.
Loughborough and Exeter into the pits. So now this is going to be interesting. And there goes Tom Thickpenny, and he's going to re-emerge in 4th place, just behind Leeds Beckett A. Aston A are up to 5th. They haven't pitted yet, so we wait for Exeter to come out. Not seen them yet. Not come out just about now. Oh, it's a slow stop, this. It's a very slow stop. And there's the 14 coming out of the pits. Exeter have lost positions here. Oh, they've stalled! They've stalled coming
exit.
Out of the pits.
Oh, dearie me.
And that is not good news for Exeter. I'm just going to remind myself where they were in championship standings. They were 9th. Oh, this has not been a good final round for Exeter. That's going to put them under threat.
Yeah. Unusual to see a car stalling out the pits here, if I'm honest. It's not
an uphill push.
It's not an uphill push. It's a pretty flat circuit, this one. Slight uphill coming through the horseshoe.
A in.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Brooks A watch, they're still there in the top 10. And I think they know. I think they know the situation. They just need to cruise round, don't get in trouble, and this title is going to go to them. And what a title it's going to be.
Yep.
Long time coming.
Where would just for an academic, where would they have to drop for Brooks B to come back into it?
Really low.
Really low.
Like really low. They'd have to be in a. Remember, they've already got a good haul of points in that second place from the first race. Brooks A would need to have this round become one that doesn't score for them.
Right.
So in terms of position for the round, we're talking as now Denham Smith goes into the pits. We're talking like they've got to be outside the top 20 in the round. And
okay.
By simply just cruising round and keeping going and not falling off, I'm going to be honest, mate, that's not going to happen. That's going to get you at least a top 10 in this round. And it's going to be enough points to pull Brooks A through. What I will be able to say, though, is in about 60 seconds' time, every single team will have done a pit stop.
Yep, absolutely correct.
Do a maths
because
exam.
Out of the pits there come Northumbria A. Now, where are they in relation to Leeds Beckett?
They're in the lead.
Is the question, and the answer is they're well up the road. There's Leeds Beckett A. Good pickup from the camera, and they're still rounding the final part of the lap. So Northumbria A, well, job done in terms of the first pit stop stint as far as I can tell, Andrew. Really impressive stuff so far from Northumbria A. And Northumbria have generally had a really good year, of course. It's been very impressive. They have a race win against them. Yes, they do. Of course, 2 for Denham Smith. Of course, absolutely. Sorry, Andrew, who's both nodding his head in yes, they do, and shaking his head in disapproval at my forgetfulness of that fact. Of course they do, but they've had a really good season. Generally, have Northumbria and this, but I don't think that's what I'm going. They haven't had an enduro win. There we go. Obviously, that's what I was thinking. Northumbria leading this one in the gap as they've come across the line, confirmed at 22.5 seconds. 20.5 seconds now, actually, that Leeds Beckett have crossed the line. So the gap has gone down by 2 seconds there, but Leeds Beckett A have the attentions of Loughborough A. That is for position. Yellow's out for a kart getting bump started on the back straight. It's the 49 getting bump started on the back straight. That's Loughborough B. But yes, you can tell the conditions now as there's a driver of... Oh, it's Jack O'Toole. Jack O'Toole has spun out to driver's right, coming out of Billy's blind, which means it's Aston B, I believe, who have spun out there.
Swansea C having a good drive at the moment. It's at halfway there. Once you take all the ineligibles out, they're in the top 20. Just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah. Is Jack O'Toole in the Aston B card?
Thank you, Aston, for sending in your notes as to who you've got out there for you this afternoon. So that's at Double Dash MM.
As we're looking at the battle over 6th place here, Southampton A in the 15 and Matthew Lewis in the 2. Oh, and yes, the 22 back marker getting in the way somewhat. But there's Nottingham Trent as well, and has that allowed Nottingham Trent, look out for the 17 there, trying around the outside of Matthew Lewis, which just might work in these conditions, and indeed it does. So Matthew Lewis got balked there by the Nottingham B kart, the number 22, and it's allowed Nottingham Trent to get back past him. So there is Diego Martinez in the 15 Southampton kart in 6th place, and then it's Nottingham Trent and Oxford Brooks A. Good battle this, as there is a black flag, but it's now just coming up on the timing as sausage black flag. And a black flag for Aston B. I haven't seen that one given out in years. black flag for dropping the cart.
Don't drop the cart.
Now, just to be clear, that's when the driver has been recovering the cart, rather than you obviously have to pick the cart up at the rear and drag the front. When you have done that, you need to place the back of the cart down, not just slam it on the floor or drop it from waist height, because of course you risk damaging the rear axle. So 2 costly black flags there for Warwick B for sausage curb riding, as it were. And do you know what? It's their second black flag for that. They are possibly the first team in BUKC history, Warwick B, to get 2 black flags for sausage riding. So well done, Warwick B. Who's that off? Do you know what? Is it a testament to my innocence that I didn't realise what I was saying until I just said it? Anyway.
It always is a test of innocence with you. Every time. That's not even your first one today.
It's not. Anyway. Don't know what cakes Warwick are going to make for me now after that. Right, okay, so Leeds A have got a curb warning. That's just a warning. Warnings are fine. Well, warnings aren't fine, but they're not penalties, crucially, as there's yellow flags out several places on the lap, it has to be said. We've got carts off. We've got a cart off at the hairpin. There is a yellow, well, there was a yellow out for turn 2 as well, but I think that may have been a marshal putting a cone back or fixing up the barrier. So, in 5 seconds' time, which means now, we will be exactly halfway of race number 3 of round number 8 of the British Universities Karting Championship. My name's Howard Mitchell alongside Andrew Mather in comms, and we've got 30 minutes left of racing in the Mains Championship for 2018. Northumbria A lead this one quite comfortably by 20.4 seconds. Then it's Leeds Beckett A and Loughborough A circulating very close together through the traffic in 2nd and 3rd. Nottingham A are 4th, 5th is Liverpool A, 6th is Southampton A, Nottingham Trent A are 7th. Brooks A are 8th, 9th is Huddersfield B, and then 10th is UWTSD Swansea. Brooks A currently looking good for the championship win as it stands at the moment. Mr. Mather.
Hello.
Hello.
I've been doing some maths, and at the halfway stage, if the race was to be red flagged now and not restarted, Oxford Brooks A would win the title by 4 points. They're currently 3rd in the round, doing more than enough. So it is pretty much confirmed now that Oxford Brooks B have slipped. It has become a drop score for them. Oxford Brooks A need to finish 7th or higher in the round. They're currently on for 3rd. 4 points. That's miles in this championship. Yeah. I don't think we've seen a gap that large in years.
No.
Huddersfield A, sorry, are currently holding on to 3rd. Because they're looking at 2nd in the round. Loughborough A are finishing 4th, if things were to stay as they are. Nottingham are finishing 5th, but they're having a real scare. That's not a done deal, because Warwick A are only 2 points behind them. Southampton A at the moment are edging out Birmingham for 7th. Oxford Brooks C are up to 9th, and Exeter, irrespective of the position of Northumbria A, are holding on for 10th at the moment. Intermediates at the moment is heading the way of Newcastle on a score of 309 points and 17th in the championship overall, 45th to 17th. Can we just reiterate how big a jump that is for Newcastle this year? Because that's not all James de Havilland. That is a proper team effort that's done that.
No, completely agree with that. That's important to make clear.
Second place in Inters is currently Huddersfield B. They're 4 points behind, so they need to improve in a manner which gives them 4 more championship positions, but they need 24th in this round. That's what they need. And King's College, funnily enough, they need 24th as well. They're currently 3rd in Inters. Who's off?
funnily enough, in exactly the same place as he was a few laps
and
ago.
He definitely placed the cart
It's Jack
that time.
O'Toole in Aston B's car, and yes, carefully placed the cart down. And whilst you were
going through the permutations,
indeed, there was a spate of black flags and penalties. So Liverpool A got a multiple contact penalty. Manchester Metropolitan A got a black flag for riding the sausage curb. And Brunel B also got a black flag for riding the sausage curb on the exit of the S's chicane. So it is difficult in these conditions. It's beginning to get quite slippery out there, as there's a contact warning for Birmingham B. Both Birmingham's A and B on a recovery drive in this one, of course, one of the many cars that ended up off the circuit at the start of this race. In a minute's time, the very last pit window of the year will open, of the season will open at least. And the teams will be making their last pit stop. It's always, when the weather gets bad, Andrew, it can sometimes, I think the teams at the front have got this nailed as a strategy.
Yeah.
Well, I do recall, perhaps in some of the early Birmingham days, if you had a pit stop, it would sort of be like, you know, come on, we've got to get the team to come on. I know it's miserable, but please, can we, you know, can sometimes be a little difficult to get the staff. As I think there's a Leeds cart off at the hairpin that looks like a Leeds race suit at long distance.
Birmingham actually, you mentioned Birmingham, they've got a bit of a battle on here. They need to get a few positions up because at the moment they're losing 7th place to Southampton A by 5 points in the championship. Leeds Beckett A are in.
It was indeed Leeds A who were spun round, I believe, at the hairpin. And yes, indeed, Andrew, Beckett A, one of the first to jump into the pits here, as are Imperial A. Going for the early stop strategy.
Oxford Brooks A, there they are on screen, or just in the background a shot. Still running there in 7th place is Matthew Lewis.
That's enough.
That's more than enough.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to remember now who's going to have the honour, if they can do it, of bringing this kart home. We've seen Jamie Zyra already. My phone's decided to stall on me. Just give me one sec.
Isn't it going to be? Is it Gareth Haynes?
I think it is, because we saw Kyle Morby race earlier, so it's going to be Gareth Haynes, one of the stalwarts of the team, who's going to be handed the kart and has the job of just bringing it home and taking the British Universities Karting Championship home for the 5th time and for the first time since 2009. Northumbria A are in, and Coventry are back underway. Huddersfield B are in as well. Kingston in, so lots of pit activity at this stage of the race, as expected.
You make a very important point there, actually, Andrew. This, of course, does tie Brooks and Loughborough again.
It does.
They're going to be 5 apiece. So the famous rivalry continues for who is the most successful team in BUKC history. They are both going to have 5 championships to their name. Whatever happens now, of course.
Liverpool A are in. They had pulled themselves up comfortably into the top 10. I'm just going to be honest. I think with that first race for them this afternoon, they've just left themselves far, far too much to do. And this is looking really good for Newcastle A, that they're going to be Inter's champions. A run that really got going, would you say, at Wilton Mill for Newcastle A?
Yeah, I know what you mean. They've had a really good few rounds since then, and I think the team who go on to win intermediates tend to be the ones, as there's a cone penalty for UWTSD, Swansea. The teams who win inters tend to be the ones who start a year as an inter team, but then begin to get on terms properly with the Premier class. And that is exactly what Newcastle have done. You look at their results, and as round goes,
Oh, that's
on
one
screen,
of the Birmingham's.
That's Birmingham C.
Battle for the lead here. Lewis Bickers and Tom Thickpenny for Nottingham and Loughborough.
Yeah. We would have, of course, it's worth bearing in mind, Northumbria A have made their stop. And actually, Northumbria A have made their second stop and are only 5 seconds behind that battle, Andrew. That's how good a lead they had going into this round of pit stops. So, yes, Nottingham A. And who is it, by the way? Is that Lewis Bickers?
It's Lewis Bickers, yeah.
So Lewis Bickers and Tom Thick, you just said that, didn't you?
Southampton A are in.
It's been a long day. 20 minutes of the race to go, or just over. Aston B have been in the pits a very long... no, actually, they've just crossed the time beacon, so panic over there. But I thought they were having troubles then, but they are running last after... I think Aston B may be in the unfortunate position of having been involved in the first lap incident, and they've had a black flag.
Yes.
And they've had a spin. No, they had 2 spins. They had the one spin that led to the black flag for dropping the cart on the floor, and then another spin subsequently. So it's been a tough race for Aston, but on the whole, Aston can hold their head up high at the end of this season. It's been a very good show from them, and as 2 races formerly of the Birmingham University Parish, I'm not sure Birmingham current team would necessarily be so quick to say it because it's direct competition, but it's good to see another Birmingham Uni coming up.
Yeah.
And you know, bringing the fight in the BUKC, because there are quite a few universities in Birmingham, so it's good that that city joins the ranks of cities like Oxford,
yep,
and Swansea, which have, you know,
multiple teams
represented in the championship.
I want to talk about Loughborough. It's the last race we'll see for now, at least, with them wearing the number 1 carts. But at the moment, they're looking, if things stay as they are, that they're going to win the round as Birmingham B come back out of the pit lane. That's quite a nice way for them to finish, I think, with the number 1 plate. It's not quite going to be enough to get them onto the podium because Huddersfield A have already got a 2nd and a 3rd. So they're looking more than good enough to get the position on the overall podium for the year and the number 3 plate for next year. Nottingham Trent are in. Nottingham Trent, another one of those teams that we think back to last year. They won Inters, finished 17th in the championship. They were looking at about that same position again. So another really good season from them.
Who are our most improved teams this year? Last year it was Exeter, the year before it was Leeds Beckett. Is it as clear cut this year who's our most improved
It's
team?
an interesting question. It depends how you want to measure it. I mean, you've had Northumbria go from rank 35 and are potentially looking at, well, they're definitely in the top 12.
Yep.
Oxford Brooks D, 50 last year. At the moment, they're in the top 15 in the championship. Newcastle, as we mentioned, 45.
Yep. Looking
like they're going to win Inters as there's a black flag for Exeter A.
That's for
They're
Sausage
currently
Curb.
17th overall. But I think the big one's got to be Aston A. In the rookies last year, in the Premiers this year, they're looking at like they're going to get a top 20 overall result in the championship. As this move there, that's a move. 4 position on track.
That is Northumbria A coming up to 2nd place and overtaking Loughborough, who still owe us a stop.
Yes.
So Northumbria now have a pit stop in hand over Loughborough. That is how impressive this Northumbria drive has been. And you can see there the number 4 just flashed down a shot if you're watching the live stream. That's Nottingham, just 2.5 seconds up the road. They owe us a stop as well. So this, Northumbria are looking to finish this off with one of the most dominant race wins of the year.
They are indeed. It's just such a shame that they got 30th in race 1. The damage was done there. They've kind of had a similar day to Oxford Brooks B. A race win, but then outside the top 20 as there's a spin down at the hairpin.
I have to say, a lot of drivers, Andrew, emerging from the pits with rain suits on,
That's
where
a wise
once they
move.
didn't have one.
I'm just looking out for where are Brooks A? I've not seen them in a while.
It's a good point. The
Just to make me
spinner at
feel
the
a bit
hairpin
more
was
comfortable.
Oxford A. Now back
I've
of
not
the way.
seen the 2 in a while. There's the 4 and the 16 and the 35, the 1. Sorry, everybody. Let me just catch them, just so I can put my own mind at rest. They're still timing and scoring. They're coming somewhere through sector 2.
Yes,
Got
there
sight
they
of
are.
it. There they are.
There they
Yeah,
are.
and they have done a driver change, and it is Gareth Haynes now at the wheel. Sorry, I just I've not
it's
seen
fine.
them in a
It's because the gap is 27.5 seconds between Loughborough A in third and UWTSD Swansea in fourth. It's a very spread out top 10, as we'd kind of expect. When the rain comes, we tend to get gaps spreading out quite a bit, because even if the drivers are fairly evenly matched on pace in the rain, they're picking their way through traffic that, I say the back markers tend to be down on pace relative to the leaders. In this race, there were so many people off at on the first lap that
there weren't any leaders left.
Yeah, that's somewhat negated statement, but you do tend to get more field spread in wet conditions. And Nottingham A, I've got to check this actually, but Nottingham A I think are about to be overtaken by Northumbria if they haven't already. And there we go, actually. Northumbria A have got past Nottingham A, Andrew, and still Nottingham A owe us a stop. So Northumbria A have got to the head of this race, and the next cart back, the next cart that doesn't owe us a stop behind Northumbria A at the moment,
Leeds Beckett A in
Leeds
fifth.
Beckett A in fifth. That's astounding. It's an I'm amazed by the dominance that Northumbria A are showing here. They just have the pace in these conditions. Here they are, picking their way through the traffic. Lap times, I mean, they have the best lap of the race at 43.6, but that's meaningless under these conditions. But they are setting lap times. Andrew, they're setting lap times around about 1.5 seconds quicker a lap.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing display here from Northumbria A, as there are yellows. To be honest with you, the only thing I can see really messing up the race for Northumbria is they have such a pace advantage. I'm hoping they're keeping their eyes peeled on these yellow flags.
Yeah.
Honestly, the biggest risk to them at the moment at this pace is that they'll overtake under yellow through, just arriving on the scene, trying to get the job done, then, one moment of absent-mindedness and, oh, dearie me, there was a yellow. So
they haven't changed driver yet, though. It's still Denham Smith at the wheel of the cart.
Very true.
So a bit of pressure on the driver to come in. Well, it looks like they're going to run a short stint.
Are we allowed to still use the phrase pulling an Oxford?
Yeah.
Pulling an Oxford 2017. There is Nottingham A emerging from the pit lane then. They've made their second stop. Where do they emerge? They emerge up the road from UWTSD Swansea. So they've got back out, and that should mean that they inherit second place once Loughborough A have made their final pit stop of the year. In this, the last race. As there's a driver off at... there's two drivers off at turn 2.
And I think someone's joined him. I think there was a spin on the yellow flag there.
Yeah. It's getting harder for us to spot these carts, particularly down at turn 2, because the rain continues to come down here. And is that at Hairpin as well? There is a driver off at Hairpin here in shot. Looks
Good
like
battle.
an intermediate class runner from the
Good
number
battle
plate.
going on. Sorry, mate. For Kingston and Swansea A. Oh, the rain's really starting to come down now.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Kingston currently are winning intermediate for the round, but they're only winning it by 1 point, so they've got to keep themselves there in 14th place. And if anything, if they could push themselves up a little bit, that would secure it even more.
Yes, the sound of the rain now quite loud. I've just removed my headset and listened to it.
Yeah, that's pretty loud.
We could record this and sell it as a relaxing CD, to be honest. This is the sound of rain is echoing around the comms box. It's sort of amplified by the shape of the roof. But yeah, conditions are tricky now. Just about keeping it on the island as the marshal repairs the barriers at the hairpin for the
14th time this race.
I think, to be honest, I think that might be kind. But yes, Here is the number 35 Northumbria continuing to lap impressively. I think Swansea C was one of your spinners on the last lap.
Yep.
It's difficult for me to tell from lap times because, of course, people are making pit stops as well. Swansea B, I think, may have had a spin. So that may have been 2 Swansea karts in 1 lap. Just 7 minutes left of this pit window.
There are indeed. It feels like even though the weather is rubbish, there's quite a few nice stories, I think, that we're ending this season with. Northumbria A, you know, potentially taking this victory. Loughborough A winning a round to finish the season. Kingston A at the moment still looking there. Yeah, 14th, they're still there. They're going to hopefully take intermediate. Brooks A breaking the duck that they've been trying to break for so long. Oh my goodness, someone's attacking Denholm Smith.
That's the 19. That's Warwick B.
That's brave.
They go for it, and they're doing it.
Warwick
this is Warwick B. Oh, are they going in the pits or?
Yeah, both Warwick cars.
Warwick B,
in.
the 2-time sausage curb riders that are Warwick B.
What an honour to have.
It's amazing. You get the T-shirts printed now, lads. I would. You can be like that sometimes. You're so focused on coming into the pits, you're like, no, I don't want to think about a battle. I want to get ahead of this person so I can cleanly get into the pits. Because there's always that slight fear that if you're in a battle, you're going to be blocked from going in the pits somehow. And it's absolutely fundamentally important. Oh, as the lead goes well wide at the hairpin, onto the tarmac. At the hairpin, where was Smith going there? That was miles off the road. I've heard about going a bit wide to take the wet line, but that was taking it to a new extreme, if I'm honest. There won't be a track limits penalty because he definitely didn't gain anything by doing that. And it's a very flat bit of runoff, so it's not damaging the kart in any way. But that was very unusual there. No, to be honest, I thought he was going to go into... I thought he was taking a trip to the tyre barriers for a moment. But he continues to circulate. We're inside of the last 10 minutes of the British Universities Karting Championship main championships for 2018. It may not be the absolute blazing finish that we've had to some of the seasons in the modern era.
Yep.
But as Andrew says, there's some really nice stories coming out of this. Oxford Brooks, and specifically as far as we can tell at the moment, Oxford Brooks A looks set to take this championship 9 years after Oxford Brooks last won the series in 2009. It's about keeping it on the island now, keeping it consistent, and even if it hasn't come to an absolute crescendo at the end here, it did go down to the last round of the championship for the championship, and
effectively it has still gone down to the last race.
Indeed, effectively it is down to the last race here. You know, if something were to happen to Brooks A here, it goes away from them, but only to their, or if only to their sister team in the Brooks B car. Huddersfield, Nottingham, Loughborough, they've all tried really hard to fight to the last here, but going into the final round, it was almost certain to be Brooks's day. And we have been treated to some absolutely superb racing throughout this season, Andrew, not least this morning. Although this morning got slightly scruffy at times, not least when we had the red flag, of course, in race number 5. On the whole, some of the racing this morning, some of the battles that we saw were absolutely stupendous. And it's fantastic to see some of the levels of racing. There have been days when it's been scruffy this year. I think it would be good to see standards improving.
Third battle place on the screen, Howard.
Right.
4 and 13. This is the only race for the 13 that counts this afternoon. They were ineligible in race 2.
Ah, yes.
In terms of, unfortunately for Nottingham, they didn't have a good first race, so they're kind of around the outskirts of the top 10 for the round. But good to see teams still scrapping it out into the latter stages of this race.
Yeah, sorry. More fool me for giving the impression that things were calm out there. There are some teams, of course, battling tooth and nail right to the end. Another battle just down the road from this is the 15 of Southampton A and the 33 of Leeds Beckett A. They're less than a second apart on the road. Southampton A, of course, looking to displace Birmingham A for 5th in the championship? 6th?
7th.
7th, sorry.
Yeah, and it looks like at the moment that they are going to do it.
Who else is close out there? Huddersfield B right on the tail of Nottingham Trent A to try and get into the top 10. And Kingston A and Exeter A having a good battle as well, over 12th. As Loughborough emerged from their last pit stop of the year. Last pit stop with the number 1 plate for the Loughborough A squad. But as we've been saying throughout the day, they've done themselves proud trying to defend that crown, but it just wasn't to be this year.
And the driver who's going to finish things up for Loughborough is going to be the same driver who drove them to the championship victory last year, which seems quite fitting in a way to me. Ollie Wedden out on the road now, and of course, here he is. Well, he's gone right into this battle for second place. This is the second place battle now. And I'm just going to check the points. Okay, this is a little bit close because at the moment Wedden can sit there and they still win the round. But every single position further forward that they makes it a little bit more comfortable. They've basically got to lose this 4th place to Southampton to give Huddersfield A the round victory. But just as we're saying, that was that.
No, that was a bad
no, that was it was the 13
YouTube
pitting.
Apologies,
so once again, that makes it a little bit more secure again for Loughborough.
Sorry, good point, mate.
5 minutes to go.
Absolutely. So the biggest battle in the top 10, this battle between Nottingham A and Loughborough A over second place. Oliver Wedden at the wheel of the Loughborough cart, and I'm struggling with the rain suit to tell who's in the number 4.
I think it might be Dan Brewer.
I think that's a good shout. I think I'll go with Dan Brewer as well. Yes, with the white helmet, I'd say,
13 re-emerges from the pit lane, as does 43, which is for a black flag for riding you-know-what.
Yes.
Just to look out for Brooks A, that yes, they are a lap down. I think this could be a bit of history. Are they going to be the first champions to finish the race? They are crowned champions a lap down, but they won't care. They will not care one bit. Just going to check as well how Liverpool are doing. I still don't think it's going to be enough to overhaul.
They're in 7th.
Yeah, I still don't think it's going to be enough to overhaul Newcastle. Huddersfield B have re-emerged in 8th place, but again, I don't think that's going to be enough. We'll check, of course.
Should stress, everything Andrew and I say
is provisional.
Is very provisional. And don't forget, you can always find the full results at results.alphatiming.co.uk/BUKC. That's where you can find the full championship table, round by round, race by race, actually lap by lap. You can actually get it to simulate the race again for you if you so wish. You can download lap times, you can do the lot. So that's the place to be if you want to cheers. The 61 does a lovely pirouette there, and so does, who else was that off with them in turn 2?
I can't even see, mate, with the rain.
No, I agree. I can't see either. I will look as ever to see if anyone's dropping down the order. The 61 was Swansea C. I feel like giving a shout out to Swansea C because
yes,
they've been that, I hope they don't mind me using the term, but that Minowa team who I'm very happy for them that they keep turning up and putting the effort in. As Manchester Metropolitan, this camera looking down the back straight from the hairpin is one of the most dramatic cameras. Who's on that camera? Because they've got some, they're bold. They're bold, let's put it that way. So, I'm wondering why the gap has gone out so much between Nottingham A and Loughborough now.
Oh, Loughborough have fallen.
Loughborough have fallen.
They
That's
have
why.
fallen, and now they're out of position where to win the round. What has happened here?
Keep your eyes peeled on turn 1. I didn't
They're
think
there. I can see them going through the S's now.
Okay, they're fine.
So they've got to get past Southampton. Well, a bit of drama.
Yeah. they've fallen behind
the 15.
Leeds Beckett and Southampton.
And there's the leader as well
so that's
of the race.
Yes. So that's Matthew Arnold. In the
Wellens off again.
He's off.
That's it.
That's the round gone.
And Loughborough A will not win round 8. It's going to be Huddersfield. Huddersfield A are going to win round 8. They're going to finish 3rd in the championship as well. And that's such a sad, sad end to the defence of the title for Loughborough. And they're going to fall a long, long way down the order. I think they're going to fall down to about 10th.
Yeah, I wouldn't have wished that on them. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I have to say, Northumbria, they're not quite going to manage it, I don't think, but they are going to be very close at the end of this to being the first team this year to win a race by a lap over anybody. I don't think we've had that.
I think we've had a couple of ones that are close. I think
we've had ones that are close, and he's about to put a lap on the battling. Now this is a battle between Southampton and Leeds Beckett A. This is over that final podium spot for the race. 3rd place on the road. There's Matthew Arnold in the 33 Leeds Beckett A kart. And I'm trying to recognise the 15 driver. Is it Titus Pichelis?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Who's just gone onto the podium. Southampton A are going to finish, as results stand, 3rd in the round.
Ah, okay.
So that's a really nice end to the season for them. On to the last lap then of the BUKC Mains Championship for 2018. I think we pretty much know where everything is going. The round is going to go to Huddersfield A. The championship is going to go to Oxford Brookes A. This race is going to go to Northumbria A. Inters is going to go to Newcastle. That's the one thing that I think I'm going to say the P word and provisional on, because I've not updated the numbers for a while. But what a season. It's been a topsy-turvy season. Not, pound for pound as close as it's been in previous years, but that's because the consistency of teams, let's be honest, has not been there.
The bar was pretty high for closeness, let's be fair.
Well, yes, we did have a 6-point tiebreaker last year. But anyway, round the final corner, here comes Denholm Smith to win this race. Northumbria A will win the race. A fantastic victory for them. And now we wait. Where's the number 2? Where are Oxford Brookes A? I'm just looking around the final corner to see where they are. Where are the champions?
There they are.
There are the champions. Oxford Brookes A have won the BUKC and crash over the start-finish line. What on... Well, this is just bizarre, but there's your champion. It was the 44 Imperial A.
Yeah, it was Dom Whiting in the 44 kart who has also come to a stop. That was...
That's the most bizarre end to a championship I've ever seen.
This is all good. There are your champions. There's Brookes A in the tyres.
I'm not quite sure what to say about that.
Do you know what I think it may have been? I think Dom Whiting in the Imperial kart didn't necessarily clock it's Brookes or it's not for position and was going for it.
Oh, another one's joined him as
Brooks
well, the
was
22.
celebrating the 22. It's not the in thing. We're not trying to set a trend here. Who's that who's joined them? The 22
It's Sheffield A.
is Sheffield A. No, it's not Sheffield A. That's 12. The 22 is Nottingham B. There we go. Well, that was odd, but I don't know quite what happened there. Technically, that happened before the line, so technically penalties could be applied.
Yes, there could be.
If I'm honest.
Let's just confirm something. Yes, okay. Even if I don't think Brookes will get a penalty. For me,
no.
As I was looking at it, that was not Gareth Haynes' fault. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
I should say, sorry, the incident started before the line. The spin is after the line, just to be absolutely clear on that. Well, at least he'll get a very, good celebration lap, although the Imperial kart is yet to be recovered either.
The good news is Gareth Haynes is all right.
Gareth Haynes is all right. Dom Whiting is all right. Whoever was in the Nottingham B kart, they're all right. They were already coming back round to the pits.
Sorry, yeah, it was Nottingham B, wasn't it?
It was Nottingham B, and Dom Whiting has finally got his Imperial kart back onto the track. I think they're going to bump start the Brookes A kart backwards up the road. At least he gets to acknowledge the team.
Yes, but I'm not quite sure what to say about that. I have my opinion. I will keep it to myself.
You know what? That's rock and roll.
That is rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Win the championship.
Win it.
Then
Bid it in
get
the
binned.
tyres. That's rock and roll. Right. Well, there you go. There's your mains championship. I'm sure on the stream we're about to hand down to Jacob Harris, but I think we'd both like to take the opportunity just to say a massive thank you to you, the viewers, for tuning in, all the people who support us and interact with us, and it's really been great, or all of the guys at Alpha Live who make the live streams possible, to Jacob who helps us out. He isn't just a lovely pretty face doing grid walks, and Morgan Price and all the camera crew. Down to Jacob.
All right, give me a shout if I go even close, all right? Yes. Sorry?
And for our listeners on Mixler, that's it.
You're only about a second and a half quicker than everyone on the track. Should have pulled my finger out. 3 people you didn't lap as well.
We are live down in the pits with the winners of race number 3. Jimbo's passing me an umbrella so we can keep dry. Problems getting up, Jimbo? Let me squeeze in between the two of you. Come on, Jamie, come to my right. Come on, that's my left. Denham on my left. Here we go. Okay, lads, you've won the last race of the year. Denham, I'll start with you because you went over the line. How's it feel?
Feels pretty good. We've had sprint victories throughout the season, so it's good to get an endurance win. Prove that we can do it in 2 different disciplines. It's pretty nice.
Jamie, what part did you play in this?
I did about 10 minutes in the middle. It were all right.
Pretty average.
Oh, don't undersell yourself.
That was all me.
Thank you very much. Two to tango, says Denham.
Get in and do 10 minutes for us to do the rules bit. So yeah.
If you didn't keep those tyres warm, Denham would have been no way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Denham, this must be what, race win 2 or 3?
I've had 2 sprint wins, and then this is my first endurance, so it's number 3.
So this is a hat trick. Congratulations. How's Northumbria's title challenge looking?
Well, we've been trying to get in the top 10. I'm not sure how the points have played out after the endurances. It's going to be, yeah. So it's going to be unlikely that we'll get in the top 10, but we're hoping for it.
Okay. Good to hear. And can I expect to see you both at the party tonight?
Definitely at the party, yes. This is probably my last race in the BUKC, excluding drivers, so it's quite a good way to go out. I'm pretty pleased.
We've had a number of drivers like that today. It legitimately breaks my heart.
Masters looks appealing, so we'll see.
I know. Back when I graduated, back in my day, we couldn't get a loan for Masters, but now you can. You may as well do another year just so you can get more BUKC.
Go on, then, you've convinced me.
Exactly. If anyone in finance wants my number, I've just sold a 10 grand loan. But yeah, lads, congratulations on your race win. Thank you for winning the last race of the year. I shall see you both at the party.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. 2 pints of beer for our victors there. I'd say clinky glasses, but they look plastic to me, so never mind. Andrew's in shot. Come on under the umbrella, Andrew.
You found my umbrella then?
No, oh, is this yours?
Yes. This is the umbrella you lost at Bookmore Park.
I gave you 20 quid for that, so can I keep this?
No, I'll give you 20 quid back.
So yeah, first round, Bookmore Park. Andrew kindly lent me this very umbrella.
Yes.
I left it by the grandstand when it stopped raining, and I turned up to the next one. Very apologetic, £20 note straight out of my wallet. I did try and buy another one online, but A, they're expensive, and I didn't want to get the wrong one, and you turn up and say, oh, it's actually a £5 in the clearance sale because I work for them.
Keep that nice
Just
essential.
keep that nice essential.
Yeah, we need to sell them.
Everyone loves JLR. Other car brands are available.
Yes.
But wow, what a way to end the season! Finding your umbrella.
Topsy-turvy. What a season.
It's been emotional, isn't it?
Yes. But yeah.
I tell you what.
Very interesting results as well. I won't say what it is.
What a great day's racing that we've had today to top it off.
Yeah. Round 7 was fantastic. I'd say that was the best sprint round we've had this year. That race, I think the highlight of my season was today, which was the battle between
Steve Letts and Joe Jones.
Joseph
Steve Letts
and Gareth, who was there.
Gareth Haynes, yes. I'm thinking of Steve Letts and Tom Thickpenny, am I?
Yeah, that was another good one. But no, really, really good stuff. Really good stuff all day. And I'm hoping this is the only bit of rain that we get this weekend, because I don't want to be in this on Sunday.
Yes, fingers crossed by the time we're streaming tomorrow afternoon, it will be dry. And yes, we are streaming tomorrow afternoon. We've got a full round of rookies racing for you, 6 races to round off our rookies championship. And Sunday, we are streaming the whole day. We have got the lightweights, the heavyweights, and the graduates championships. Every man for himself. It's going to be carnage. Andrew,
yes.
Me and you racing?
We are. We're just going to stay clear of each other. And Howard promises not to take you out this year.
Yes. For those of you viewed last year, you might remember Howard took me out at the hairpin at Wilton. Shocking developments, I must say. As I turned in to the left-hander, in the corner of my eye, I saw a big blue-suited individual, came in my way, and I thought, please, God, no. But it was Howard. Came into the side of me. He apologised profusely, but I still hate him to this day. But yeah, hopefully we'll see less of that on Sunday. Andrew, anything last to be said from you?
Thank you to everybody at home. It's amazing to think that 2 years ago we started this streaming stuff off Brother Mike's iPhone, and look where it's come, and that's all because of you guys for supporting us. So thank you so much. Stick with us, rookies tomorrow and drivers Sunday, but it's quite cold and I want a beer.
End of the season, big thanks obviously to everyone who watches at home. We'll go through the long list of thanks at the end of Sunday when I mention all the crew and collaborators, but for now it's a sign off for tonight. If those of you who are here at the track, make sure you're at the awards ceremony. We've got an incredible night planned. For those of you who aren't here, we'll see you tomorrow around about lunchtime. You'll get a notification to tune in. Good night.